That's what they're starting to do.
And South Hagerstown, speaking of growing, who would have seen this coming this year? A team that is 6-3. The playoffs are a possibility depending upon what they do tonight, but they have to handle their business here first. But it's a young team whose heart certainly outweighs its experience.
Yeah, and that's a matter of the coaching staff pulling them together and everybody working as a team. And as you work together as a team, good things begin to happen. You build trust, you build confidence, and they have that right now.
And one thing you always look at coming into this matchup is the number of seniors, players who could be suiting up for the very last time tonight. 36 of them altogether between these two teams, but when you look at a very important position, that being quarterback, there's no senior to be found on either side for South Hagerstown. A couple of players who have been sharing duties this year, a junior in Chase Maloney, a sophomore in Timmy Townsend.
Yeah, and when you're young like that and you have a team around you that's young, then you can take that leadership role. And I think both coaches are going to be very pleased to what's going to happen in the future. They're going to see these individuals grow and become better and take on that leadership role. And both teams should have very successful years in the future.
And I believe that Coach Staines at North Hagerstown saw that during last offseason after what was a tumultuous end to last season. All of a sudden, Scott Neal, who was just a freshman, pretty darn good receiver at that, says, Coach, I want to be the man next year. Coach Staines says, what do you mean? He says, I want to be your quarterback as a sophomore. That's a tough task, but he stepped into that role.
Yeah, and the big thing is saying I want to be. You know, if you want to be it, you want to take those reins, you want to be in charge, you want to be the guy that has the ball 99% of the time and does something with it. That's what you want at a quarterback. It doesn't matter about age. It matters about heart and saying I want to do it.
Well, as 16-time world wrestling champion, Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. We're going to find out who's going to be the man before this is all over, but our man on the field, Mark Keller, talks past, present, and future relative to this game when you come back live on Antietam Cable.
Comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Welcome back to Rebel Stadium, getting ready for kickoff here for the North-South game. It is game number 60 in the North-South series, and really quite amazing how close this series has been over the first 59 years of the series. North leads the all-time series 30-28-1. That tie came in the first meeting between the two schools back in 1957. Incredibly, only 30 points separating North and South over the 59 games already played in this series. North has scored 897 points. South has scored 867. So another sign of how close this series is. Series has always been one of streaks. Not long ago, North had the longest win streak in the series at 8 games, winning 8 in a row from 2003 to 2010. But since then, South has won 4 of 5 over the Hubs, including the last 3. The big story surrounding this year's game, of course, is the playoff possibilities for South. When the Rebels beat Tuscarora, undefeated Tuscarora here on this field about a month ago, Coach Toby Pierce said that the win ranked among the biggest since he came here to South in 2010, and it certainly looms very large now. It's really the reason that South is still alive in the playoff hunt. They are 5th in the 3A West standings, just behind Linganore, just ahead of Seneca Valley, so they have a real shot at getting in. So now get out a pencil and a piece of paper. We're going to have to take notes on this. Lots of moving parts involved, but in its simplest form, the Rebels' path to the playoffs looks like this. They need a win over North tonight, obviously. A Tuscarora win over Oakdale. They need wins by Mergenthaler, Williamsport, and Jefferson. They're all playing teams with worse records than themselves. Those would all give South bonus points tonight. Finally, a win by Walter Johnson over Churchill. That would deny Seneca Valley a bonus point, or a win by South Carroll over Westminster. That would give South Hagerstown an extra bonus point. Now, if it comes down to it where Seneca Valley and South Hagerstown are tied in the standings, South would win the tiebreaker based on more bonus points, and it's a real possibility that those two teams will end up tied in the standings. So it sounds complicated, it sounds kind of convoluted, but it's actually a pretty clear and pretty feasible way for South to get into the playoffs. So Wes, have you got all that? I'm going to quiz you on it later.
Yeah, I just broke out the scientific calculator, and right now it's actually there's smoke coming out of it. So yeah, it's about as clear as you can make it, Mark. And thanks for that particular scenario. But man, oh man, I think the bottom line to it all, it starts right here tonight on this field. South Hagerstown needs to get this win first and foremost.
Yeah, and that's the thing that has to be on their mind right off the bat. They're not thinking playoffs. They're thinking we've got 48 minutes of ball to play. We have to go win this ball game. This is the city championship. This is bragging rights. This is everything that you talk about ever since you came into this high school is to win this ball game. So that's what you're taking care of right now.
Yes, this is the 15th time, too, that the Hagerstown Gridiron Championship Trophy has been attached to this game. That first happened back in 2002, and South initially had a stranglehold on that, and then all of a sudden it was North Hagerstown who ran off 8 straight wins. And now South of late, as Mark pointed out, has won the last 3 in this series. And, of course, if South were to make it to the playoffs, it would be the 3rd playoff appearance in school history. The Rebels continue to head in the right direction. And this year, it's interesting, Mark pointed out, the big win over Tuscarora, what looked like it could be the big loss and potentially still could be, was that defeat at the hands of Westminster, a game that was originally scheduled for a Friday night and then because of the weather was moved to Saturday. And South didn't quite have all of its players for that game, which may have factored in a little bit. Nothing you can do about it after the fact, but at the same time, that's one that they might look back on. But as we outlined in the opening, this is a team that has shown so much more in terms of those wins than I think anybody could have envisioned coming into the season, given all of those skill position players that were lost a year ago. 24 seniors graduated a year ago from South Hagerstown who played football.
Very, very hard to replace a large number of seniors, and in particular a large number of seniors who produce so much for you on the playing field as far as wins go and leadership goes. But again, that leadership just leads right down to the lower levels, and those guys that have to step in, the next man up, so to speak, they have stepped in, and I think they can attribute a lot of that to the players that were here last year and the year before.
And as far as South Hagerstown is concerned and what they've been able to achieve so far this season, I think it's even amazed head coach Toby Pure a little bit what they have been able to accomplish and the way that they've done it, too. South has had some tremendous defensive stands when they've had to have them this season. They haven't been overwhelmingly explosive offensively, which the Rebels have kind of become known for the past several years leading into this one. But when they've lost games, it's been because there's been a big play or two on the other side that sort of offset their methodical way of moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, the 2 major things that you worry about. Number one are the turnovers. And obviously, you've got to win that battle. And the second thing that you want to do is you want to stay away from those big plays. If the opposing team is going to score, make them earn it, make them work for it, make them do everything that they possibly have to do to get into the end zone. When you give up a big play, your defense has been on the field, and then they have to come right back out again. That's kind of difficult to overcome. So those are the things that you want to stay away from in a game like tonight. You want to stay away from big plays, and you want to stay away from those turnovers.
And you certainly don't want to give North Hagerstown a reason to get any confidence early on if you're South Hagerstown, because North has actually played much better in the first half this year than they have in the second half. North has only scored 58 points after halftime in games this season. So that's why they've been able to hang in games after the first 2 this year. They've actually played pretty well throughout the rest of the schedule, with the exception of perhaps Williamsport and Liberty early on. Aside from those 2 games, North has been in games early on. So South wants to take a little bit of that away from them early on, make them feel like, hey, you're just not you're not going to get the job done tonight.
Yeah, and I think the key word that you said there earlier is methodical. if South is methodical, if they take their time, move the ball down the field, short chunks of yardage, keep the ball away from North, it frustrates the other team when the opposing team is just moving it, and you got them 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and they pick up the first down. You got another 4 downs. You get them in a 3rd down situation. They pick up another first down. That's the stuff that really takes the fire out of you. It takes the stuff that you have right at the beginning, the momentum out of you. You just get frustrated, and then you start doing things that you shouldn't do, and then that leads to the plays that score touchdowns.
And South this year has been able to run the football. They've been able to sustain some long drives. I remember back in week 3 against South Carroll, a game where they hurt themselves so much with penalties, they kept going backwards, but they kept keeping the drive alive. They made a lot of plays on 3rd and 4th downs. North has not been good at stopping teams on those downs this year, and South, a team that is primarily going to run the ball. That's what they've done for the better part of this season, averaging almost 172 yards rushing per game, whereas North on the other side is giving up 215 yards rushing. So it's strength against weakness there. North is going to have to find something that they really haven't been able to find throughout the course of the regular season in order to stop South tonight. But hey, it's North-South, and of the 59 previous meetings, the team with the lesser record has won 12 times.
Yeah, and it's very possible. Again, it's all that thing called momentum. It's all that thing that starts the ball rolling in your direction. And in the game of football, that's what it is. You go back, and there's usually 2 or 3 plays that determine the outcome of the particular game. And if those plays go your way, you're in business.
Well, when we come back, we'll find out who hoists the Hagerstown Gridiron Championship trophy in 2016. Back to School Stadium live on Antietam Cable right after this timeout.
Champions are not merely born, they're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny. To shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
Hamilton Nissan made buying my new Nissan Rogue an easy decision. Every car they sell automatically comes with their Hamilton for Life program. With it, I get free oil changes, free tire rotations, free car washes, and Hamilton's limited lifetime engine guarantee. And this mom didn't pay a dime for that peace of mind. It completely took the worrying out of car buying, and it's keeping my family on schedule, and we have a lot of places to go.
The Hamilton for Life program, getting you where you need to go.
Here's to the people who put in the long hours, the ones who drive this community, take risks, create opportunities, sacrifice, volunteer, and stick with it every day. The ones who give their best for their business, their family, their community, their future. We love community business owners because we're a community-owned bank, and we're proud to be with you, in business and in life. First United Bank and Trust, my bank.
At Hagerstown Kia, we make it easy. Upgrade to a new, safe, and more reliable vehicle with a payment that fits your budget. Come see our lineup of award-recognized models, like the brand new 2017 Sorento, earning the Top Safety Pick Plus award, and the 2016 Forte, with a 5-star safety rating. Test drive the 2016 Soul, rated the highest-ranked compact multi-purpose vehicle in initial quality by J.D. Power. Visit us today or view our great offers online at HagerstownKiaOffers.com.
South Hagerstown High School Rebel Band finishing up our national anthem here on what is not only the Diamond Anniversary game for South and North Hagerstown, the 60th. It's also senior night here at South Hagerstown School Stadium. So a lot going on, along with the fact that there is potentially a playoff spot out there for South Hagerstown to snag. And again, not everything within the Rebels' control, as Mark pointed out. but at the same time, the one thing that is right here on this football field. And as far as North Hagerstown is concerned, I mentioned it in the opening, they've got quite a few seniors over there too who would love to spoil any possibility of South playing in Week 11.
Yeah, when you are playing on a team that hasn't won for 3 years or 2 years, you want to get that win on your side. You want to have that reunion 20 years, 30 years down the road and say, we at least beat you one time. So I'm sure that's sitting in the back part of their minds. It hasn't been done for a while, so they want to go out and get it done and turn the thing back on their side.
Yeah, if you're a member of that senior class, you haven't beaten South Hagerstown so far. So this is the final opportunity. And last year, it was a very rough game for North Hagerstown. Before they even took the field, their starting quarterback, Benny Barnes, was suspended for that game. And Ben Stottlemyre, who was a junior at the time, a wide receiver, took over at quarterback, and it was just not a good scenario for North to try to pull an upset last year, and South would go on to win it by a score of 35-7. Stottlemyre ran for the only touchdown in that game for North. Over on the south side, two guys who are back this year who factored in last year, McCoy Dutrow and Lincoln Akubu, each had touchdown catches in that victory. And as Mark said, this series has just been incredibly close. 21 of the 59 games coming into this one decided by 7 points or fewer. Now, over the last couple of years, things have certainly swung in the other direction. But when you look out there on the field tonight, especially early on, I think that's going to determine and is going to set the tone for what's going to happen in this football game.
Well, you have perfect weather conditions, number one, so there shouldn't be anything that's going to be outside, any outside factor that is going to affect it. You kind of hope, you want them fired up, you want them to be at that peak level, but you don't want your players to be overexcited and bobble a punt, bobble a kickoff, or drop a pass that should have been caught, or fumble a ball that you should have been holding on to because you're trying to get that extra yard and you have that adrenaline flowing. So the first couple minutes, they'll get settled down, they'll get into the groove, and they'll play the game. And if you're North, you're sitting over there and saying, this is our chance to do whatever we're going to do. We don't need to be thinking about the playbook and running it and trying to be methodical and get that win and possibly make a playoff. What we're going to do is we're going to knock you out of the playoffs because we're going to do some strange stuff. So if you're South, you've got to be thinking, look out, here it could be anything that you're going to be seeing.
Absolutely. North can just play free and easy, and both of these teams have played great competition this year. North's opponents with a record of 55-34 through 9 weeks, and South's opponents 49-32. So they haven't played any patsies on either side as McCoy Dutrow kicks it off, and the ball is on the ground, and the Rebels look like they have come up with it at the 37-yard line, and they have come up with it. South with the recovery on what was a little bit of an in-between kick there, not truly an onside kick, but just a little bit of a bloop, and forcing North Hagerstown to try to make a play on it, and the Hubs could not, and South gets just the kind of start that it could only have dreamed of, because now not only did they get the ball to start the game, they'll get the ball to start the second half.
And they've got great field position, and this is one of those things where, again, the ball goes up in the air. You think you have good people up in the front who can handle the ball. It looked like North was going to be able to do that, but again, it's somebody that's not used to catching those kickoffs and high in the air, and it's bobbled, and South was very alert to fall on it and come up with the ball.
So the Rebels start from the North Hagerstown 37-yard line. And on first down, the give comes to the near side of the field, and the North defense is equal to the task. Nowhere to go for McCoy Dutrow as he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10 upcoming, so a good response initially by the North Hagerstown defense.
And you want to, if you're going to stop a running game, a predominant running game, then you need to get that penetration. And once you get the penetration through the line, make the tackle. Don't let the opposing team break the tackle. So again, North is all over this play. You can see where the momentum is and where the fire is when you look down and you see 4 or 5 red jerseys surrounding a ball carrier. It's not one player making the tackle; it's a group of them.
Timmy Townsend keeping on that play and is stopped after a gain of about a yard. Aaron Horton in on the tackle with some help from Ralph Kolb, and it'll be 3rd down and 9 upcoming.
That's a good job by North, just keeping the outside shoulder free, forcing everything back inside, and that's where your help is going to come from those linebackers on the inside.
Ball at the 36-yard line. Townsend flares it out, is caught by Dutrow, who turns it up and is able to dive ahead for the first down. It's a gain of 10, and South will move the chains.
And those are the things that, as a coach, you just don't want to see. You've held them, getting third and long, and then they come up with a play that just barely gets the first down, and now you got to start on defense all over again.
Yeah, that is one of those disheartening plays for the defense. As for the offense, as you talked about, perhaps a little bit of a feeling out process early, get some of those jitters out. Well, that'll help. You get your first down of the game, converting a third down. So 1st and 10 from the 26 of the Hubs. Townsend near side. Kubu makes the catch. He's inside the 30, 25, and is finally forced out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 7.
A nice little touch on this. Just catch the ball, just a little bit of a flare pattern out here. Nice touch. Catch the receiver in motion as he's running down the field. Good block downfield. You always like to see that out of your receivers. Pick up some extra yardage.
It'll be 1st and goal now from the 7-yard line for the Rebels. And again, they got the short field to start after recovering the kickoff. And trying to make North pay, and it's Talik McKenzie who gets his first call of the night, trying to go straight up the middle. The ball came out. I didn't hear a whistle, and it will be North Hagerstown football. It's recovered by Aaron Horton.
And again, one of those plays, North did a very nice job getting a lot of players around the ball carrier. And you're fighting for that extra yard, and this is where you practice this all year. First player make the tackle, everybody else strip, carry the ball, rip at the ball. It is ripped out, and once it's ripped out, then you want to get your players to recover it, which is exactly what North did.
So North makes its own break on defense. And now we'll go to work from its own 8-yard line with 10:03 left to play in the opening quarter. Scott Neal at quarterback. And on 1st down, North will try to get a little breathing room with Ben Stottlemyre.
Just like a little running play to the outside, a quick pass, and again you can see the South players swarm to the North receiver there and try and again rip that ball out once you get them stood up.
It's a gain of about 7 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 3. And I like that call from North because it allows Neal to go ahead and get his feet wet throwing the ball with a short pass. Still a little bit of confidence early on. And now Stottlemyre searching for the first down, spins his way out to about the 20-yard line and out to the 21, and that will be good for a first down.
So you have the pass play, like you said, the first down, and that's going to loosen things up a little bit. Show South they're not afraid to throw the ball early, and also deep in their territory, they're not afraid to throw the ball. And then you come back with the running play to pick up the first down.
Ball at the 21-yard line. The officials with a whistle here with 9:05 left to go in this opening quarter. It's been an interesting start. South recovering their own kickoff to start the football game and driving down inside the North Hagerstown 10, but then fumbling it away, and now the Hubs trying to work with the long field, and up the middle goes Stottlemyre, and not a whole lot of room there. Plenty of green jerseys converging to make the stop after a pickup of just one.
North is not wasting any time. They're no huddle, just coming right back out and getting the signals from the sideline and making the call to run the play.
3 receivers to the left and 1 to the right in this formation. And Neal looking left. And he will not be able to get away from McKenzie, who came up to knock him down behind the line of scrimmage. A loss back to about the 16-yard line. And that will bring up a 3rd down and very long.
So you're rolling to the left. You've got 3 receivers going out in that direction. This one you can attribute to the South secondary. They had everybody covered. There was no place to throw the ball, and you get the sack.
3rd down and almost 15. And again, prior to the snap, we get a whistle, an official's timeout. North Hagerstown in a position here that has not been favorable for them this season. Well behind and down in distance, and Neal has been sacked to quite a bit this year. And taking that sack there, bringing up this 3rd and long for the Hubs. But again, this is a game where they don't have a whole lot to lose here. You can pretty much play free and easy. And South Hagerstown, the team with, if you want to say, has a little bit of pressure on them here in this contest. And North will go to the air, and it's Rayvon Dillard who makes the catch, but he's hit immediately by Jake Bertrand and dropped at the 15-yard line. Actually be a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
It's a good defensive play. It's a good look off by the quarterback, come back, but a great job by the defensive player to come up and make the tackle. Again, a good sure tackle. Don't allow that offensive player to make a move on you and get upfield.
So Seth Hartman on to punt, and the Rebels stand to get excellent field position, and a couple of speedsters back to return in Dutrow and Ikubu. But first, a penalty flag down prior to the snap. We played nearly 5 minutes of this opening quarter, and nothing on the board to this point. Legal participation against the Rebels. Too many players on the field. So we'll move the football up to the 22-yard line.
The South's receivers are back at about midfield, so they're expecting to get good field position out of this.
Hartman drives one that takes a North Hagerstown roll, and it won't be quite as good as the Rebels had hoped it would be in terms of field position, as the ball will be down at the 32-yard line. So a very good punt of 52 yards by Hartman, who came in averaging 32 per kick this season.
So you got a low kick, number one, which did not allow the receivers really to get under it and make any kind of move. Good punt coverage downfield by North. Once the ball hit the ground, took a great North roll and picked up another 10 yards, puts out back another 10 yards from the North goal line.
Second possession of the game for the Rebels. As I mentioned in the opening, rotation of quarterbacks to some degree. Timmy Townsend getting the snaps on that first possession. Now Chase Maloney takes over at quarterback here to start this drive, and he hands it off to Jaswa Sanan, and Sanan across the 40-yard line and out to about the 46. And a gain of 14 before the Hubs are finally able to bring him down.
So you're looking at a little sweep off to the right side, and again, it's a matter of picking and weaving. Once you see where the hole is at, find that hole, hit the hole, and then turn it upfield.
But there is a penalty flag on the play against the Rebels for a block in the back, and that will move the football back inside the 25-yard line, almost all the way back to the 20. So that will wipe out. A good gainer by Sanan, and South just not off to a real crisp start in this football game to this point. They got the big break to begin, but did not take advantage of it and hurt themselves with the penalty here, and it will be a first down and 22 upcoming. The handoff to Sanan again, and he got pressure right away. Good penetration into the backfield for the Hubs. It was Keon Campbell, their second leading tackler this season, who was the first to get in there, and Michael Stevens also part of the play. And North still very pumped up. You see Stevens coming from the backside and Campbell with the initial contact, and North just hanging in here early on, and South enabling them to hang around.
Yeah, and the more North hangs around, the more confidence they're going to get, and the better they're going to play, and the more fired up they're going to be.
Second down for the Rebels, and Townsend back in at quarterback. Throws on the run. He finds a Kubu, who slams on the brakes and turns it upfield to the 40-yard line, and will wind up about 3 yards shy of a first down.
And there's that senior experience of catching the ball and planting the foot, knowing that the defender is back there, but you're going to make a move, and you make the move back to the inside. The defender is standing flat-footed, and you're able to pick up some great yardage. Now you're in a 3rd and 2 or 3 yard situation, which is very, very manageable.
Rebels digging themselves out of a hole with that play. Yakubu making the nice move and picking up the yardage after the catch out to the 40. McKenzie gets the call to the right side, and he will get the first down by about a yard. Ronnie Walker made the tackle, but not until McKenzie gained 4. He needed 3.
And just enough to pick up that first yard, and those are the ones that break the backbone for you defensively, because you've done a great job getting him into a 2nd and long situation, and all of a sudden here comes a first down and just by a yard, and that's all it takes. And you got a new set of downs for South.
And this is what the Rebels do. As I said, they can put together these long drives. They're methodical. No big plays involved, really. I mean, other than the one that Yakubu had, and McKenzie lost the football, picks it up, and he's going to be trapped behind the line of scrimmage, and because of that bobble, he's going to lose yardage back inside the 40-yard line. Stevens, one of the first to get there for the Hubs.
And this is just a matter of, with the exchange, just not holding on to it tight and trying to tuck it away, and it comes out on the left side, goes on the ground. He's very fortunate to be able to pick the ball up and try and get a little bit of the yardage back, but a good job as far as that goes.
So South again puts itself behind schedule here. It'll be 2nd and 14 back at the 39-yard line. Sinan this time turns it upfield and pushes his way out to about the 43-yard line. Jacob Sprecher and Keon Campbell combine on the stop.
So North is again sitting in a situation where they're playing run. You've got a lot of people up in the box, and they're doing a pretty good job at keeping the run limited to yardage. You're looking again at 3rd and 10, and these are the situations that North has been burned on so far, with just a little pass and enough to pick up the first down.
Nearly 9 minutes gone by here in this scoreless opening quarter. Townsend in the shotgun. Looking, gets pressure, dumps it off. Sinan's got it near side, and he's got a lot of room across the 40, 35, inside the 30-yard line, and he's all the way down to about the 10.
Pass is complete, number 21, Jason Sinan.
That's great presence by your quarterback. A rush coming on, felt the rush, steps up inside the pocket. Did not want to throw that short little pass. He was looking downfield, but then there's your dump off. There's your little safety valve, and again, downfield, some great blocking, just enough to keep the balance, keep in bounds. Great gain, and your downfield close again inside the 10-yard line, so your 1st and goal.
I thought there for a second they might get Yakubu for a block in the back, but evidently either they didn't see it or they determined that he got his head in front of the man that he blocked on the near side. And once again, South with too many players on the field, and will get flagged for 5 yards. So that will back the Rebels up. It seems so far in this game that South is the only team who can really stop South to this juncture. I mean, they keep taking, a step forward, 2 steps back, but then they come back and they get ahead of things again. So here we go. We'll see what they can do this time with their 2nd opportunity in the red zone. Ball now spotted at the 14-yard line. Dutrow to the far side of the field, gets hemmed in, and will turn right back into the pursuit. Good job by Jacob Sprecher to come in and force him back into the middle of the field.
Yeah, your South is lining up in a double tight, and you've got a halfback sitting over there in a position where he can be a lead blocker. You've got everybody pulling to that side, but again, North with the penetration and then slanting the direction where the runner was going, was able to come up with a nice defensive play.
2nd down and goal now from the 12-yard line after the 2-yard run by Dutrow. Sinan back in. He lines up to the left of the quarterback, Townsend. Townsend looking left, throws it to Yakubu, who makes the catch, and Yakubu is turned away inside the 3-yard line, forced out at about the 2 by Trace Bender.
And a nice little pattern. You get the wide receiver to run straight down the field, and you get the slot man to just get a little out, and that clears it out. Just a quick pass. You don't need many yards. You're sitting on about the 12 or 13-yard line. So nice pickup here, and you're about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 short of scoring your first touchdown.
Zanat lines up to the right of the quarterback, Townsend. This time, Townsend going to take it himself, and he is in for the touchdown.
And that's the wise move to make there. The quarterback keeps the ball and started to the right side. There was an opening. I thought North had hit him and possibly could have driven him back, but the leg drive of your quarterback gets the ball into the end zone.
Boy, Townsend made the right read on that play, too, taking it outside. He had all kinds of room there. As you said, North trying to get there in time to deny him, but there wasn't a whole lot of ground that he had to gain, and he had such a big hole over there that he was able to get in for the score. And now Zach Roop on for the point after. Penalty flag down prior to the try. And a false start against the Rebels.
So you're a little anxious, make a little move before the ball snapped. Cost you 5 yards, but you should be able to kick the extra point from this point.
About a 25-yard extra point attempt now by Roop. It's low, but it's straight, and it's straight through. 2 minutes left to go in the opening quarter. South Hagerstown leads North by a score of 7-0. Back to School Stadium, live on Antietam Cable in just a moment.
When you're sick or hurt and can't be seen by your regular doctor, you just want to feel better faster. Make a convenient appointment or simply walk into Meritus Urgent Care, where you can receive attention from our caring professionals, from sprains and strains to sore throats, earaches, and other ailments that are not life-threatening. Meritus Urgent Care has you covered with on-site labs and x-rays and much more. We're conveniently located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Hagerstown at the Sylvania Center. Feel better faster with Meritus Urgent Care.
At Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period. We're the largest Ford store in the tri-state area. #1 for only one reason. We charge less, period. Hagerstown Ford delivers. We'll bring your new ride to you and do the whole deal sitting at your kitchen table. Easy peasy. Get more for your trade, easy on-the-spot financing, and the lowest prices on the East Coast guaranteed. And if we can't beat their deal, we'll buy that car for you. Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period.
Welcome back to School Stadium. This time, South Hagerstown with an onside kick for sure, and Dujay Smith able to scoop it up for North Hagerstown and advance it back out across the 40-yard line to the 42. So North will get pretty good field position to start, something they did not have the luxury of on their initial possession of the football game. So now down by 7 with under 2 minutes left to go in the opening quarter. And with much better field position, we'll see what the Hubs can do here as they try to spread South out. 3 receivers right and 2 to the left. Empty set behind the quarterback, Neal. Neal looking to throw right side, now gets pressure. He'll run with it and is out of bounds at the 45, forced out by Roop after a gain of about 3.
I'm not so much sure if this was a designed run or not, but again, like you say, you got the field spread out, you drop back like you're going to pass, and then you pull the ball down and run to the short side of the field and able to pick up 3 yards out of it.
2nd and 7 from the 44. And again, an empty set with the quarterback, Neal, the only man in the backfield. Stottlemyre and Dillard to his right now. Stottlemyre in short motion, and Neal will keep. Neal across midfield and to the 41-yard line he goes. Finally brought down there by Anthony Hodges.
So you've got the 3 receivers to the wide side of the field, and you bring motion back to that side. Everybody's going to the left. Quarterback with a little bit of a fake and bring the ball back to the right side and pick up a nice block downfield by your offensive lineman, and you're picking up a first down.
15-yard gain on the play, and North in 2 quick plays into South Hagerstown territory. Now Stottlemyre tries the middle, and he's got nowhere to go as Roop was able to beat his man and grab a hold of the North Hagerstown running back right near the line of scrimmage, and will pull him down for no gain.
And again, you're coming back to the short side of the field, but great penetration, and that's all it takes. It's just some penetration, knock those pulling linemen down, and the ball carrier has no place to go.
2nd and 10 from the Rebel 44 for the Hubs. Neal joined in the backfield this time by Stottlemyre, as we're under a minute left to go in the opening quarter, and it's Stottlemyre to the left side, cuts it up, and will make it to about the 40-yard line before Ikubu brings him down.
And a good job again by Ikubu, but what you're looking at is he recognizes that it's a run, attacks that, so as Stottlemyre starts to run to the left, Ikubu's coming up and just takes away that angle so that he can turn it upfield.
3rd down and 7 from the 40-yard line. Hubs don't look like they're in a big hurry to run this play as we're winding down the first quarter, and it looks like they will let the clock run out. So at the end of 1 from School Stadium in the 60th all-time meeting between North and South, South leads at 7-0. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Have you been looking for us? Well, the wait is almost over. We're getting out of the studio to bring you Washington County's local news when you want it and where you want it, like Antietam National Battlefield.
And down by the river in Williamsport. And don't forget about Municipal Stadium.
We'll be live and local like never before.
Your local news team is returning. Stay tuned.
At Hagerstown Honda, we make it easy. We've got a full lineup of award-winning models, such as the Accord, 30 years on the Car and Driver's 10 Best list, or the 5-star overall vehicle score rated 2016 Odyssey, or the 42 miles per gallon Civic. And check out our huge inventory of SUVs. No doubt about it, 2016 is going to be the year for Hagerstown Honda. View all our great offers online at HagerstownHondaOffers.com or visit us today.
Welcome back to School Stadium along with Coach Greg Kellick. I'm Wes Decker. 1 quarter in the books here in the 60th chapter of this series between North and South Hagerstown. Rebels with a 7-0 lead. North facing a 3rd and 7 from the South 40-yard line. And Scott Neal, as he often is, in the shotgun here. 3 receivers left and 1 to the right. Stottlemyre in motion. Neal looks to try to get it to him, but Roop got in the way, and we may have a holding call behind the play as Neal had to improvise. He's very close to a 1st down, but this one likely coming back, and it is a hold against the Hubs.
Good decision here by your quarterback. The receivers are covered, had no place to throw, then pulls the ball down, and once he pulls the ball down and is able to get it upfield, good job coming back, just shading off some of the defenders, and would have been enough for a 1st down, but the holding now puts them back.
Yeah, I think wherever that hold was called, it looked like it was well behind the quarterback. I don't think it would have affected the play, but obviously still can't grab a hold of a defender and impede him from doing his job. So this will back North up from what would have been a 3rd and 7 all the way back into their own territory at the 43-yard line. So it'll be 24 yards they'll need for a 1st down here on 3rd down. And this is not a team built necessarily to get big chunks of yardage.
And so what you want to do, you'd like to pick up the 1st down, but at the same token, you don't want to do anything silly and lose the ball, because if you get stopped here, you can still punt the ball out and get some good field position for your defense.
And Neal looking over on the right side for Chase McCoy, and the ball was almost caught by his other receiver, Rayvon Dillard, but it goes incomplete. So that will bring up a 4th down, and amazingly enough, that is the first incompletion of the game in 8 attempts. Quarterbacks had been 7 for 7 to that point. So on 4th down, Hartman, who boomed a 52-yarder his first time with the benefit of a nice roll, will try to kick this one deep into the south end. Kubu comes up and he'll just watch it bounce, and it will be down by Lane Hammond of the Hubs inside the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at the 27. And South will go back to work with 11:29 left to play in the second quarter.
So you get exactly what you want out of your punt team. You want to get the ball kicked downfield, and you don't want any return from the opposing team, and that's what they got. So you got to be pleased if you're North as far as the punt goes.
So the Rebels, who scored on their last possession on an 8-play, 68-yard drive, will embark on this one from 73 yards away from pay dirt. Maloney is the quarterback, gives it to Sano, running to the left side, a huge hole, and he's all the way into the second level before he's even touched. And the ball came out, but the Rebels were able to get it back, and it will be a first down all the way out to the 48-yard line. Some good fortune there for Sonone, and that football's proven to be a little bit slippery here in the first half of this game.
You're always saying to hold that ball high and tight, and that one's a little bit low and loose. Again, just a good roll of the ball there, and luckily for South, they had somebody in position where they could fall on it and recover it.
Winds up being a 21-yard gain. So a big difference between turning the football over there and getting it back and gaining 21 yards. And you see Sonone quickly over on the sideline for the Rebels after that particular play. And the handoff now goes up the middle for Dutrow. And Dutrow pretty well limited on that run by the North defense. He's brought down just across the midfield stripe.
And he had a good job by the backside of the North's defense, just running down, pursuing it. The left side of their defensive line strung the thing out a little bit, and the right side, pursuing, was able to run it down for a short yardage gain.
2nd and 7 for South. Townsend is back in at quarterback. And Dutrow gets the call. And Dutrow tripped up. It was Sprecher who got a hand on him. But McCoy able to get to the 46-yard line. That's a gain of 4.
Penetration is key, but if you're going to get the penetration, then you have to make the tackle. And sometimes you over pursue, and it leaves a little bit of a cutback lane, and that cutback lane can turn into some big yardage sometimes.
So 3rd down and 3. For South Hagerstown. Dutrow remains in the backfield behind the quarterback, Townsend. And a penalty flag. Delay of game against the Rebels.
5-yard penalty. Bring up a 3rd and 8.
South making a lot of errors here in the early going that you wouldn't expect from a team in Week 10.
Well, and a team that's played so well right now, too. The jitters at this stage of the game should be over. They should be settled down, and they should be able to play the way they're capable of playing.
And even so, they lead 7-0. The handoff is to Dutrow, and he is brought down well short of the first down. Stevens made the stop at about the 47-yard line of the Hubs.
So a little bit of a stumble, and that might have been the thing that did not allow him to make a good cutback on that, and it was brought down. So you're looking at a 4th down, and I think now they're bringing out their punt team. I'm not sure.
Now South is going to talk it over with 8:58 remaining. And again, if you're the Rebels, you have to be a little bit calculated here because of what potentially is on the line. So you don't want to do something, again, that's going to keep North in the game, keep opening the door for them because they put the ball on the ground a few times, some untimely penalties. They've been able to overcome them for the most part, but you don't want to keep throwing the bait out there one of these times North's going to take it.
Yeah, you've been fortunate so far with the fumbles and the field position and things that have happened at this stage of the game. Sooner or later, you're not going to be fortunate. And I think once they talk it over, you're just on a 46-yard line to give North the ball at that position with a lot of time left on the clock. I don't know if you want to do that. If you got a faith and trusting your punting, then punt the ball down and then let your defense play defense and get the ball back again in good field position.
Yeah, the defense has been very solid so far in this game. We saw North already with one drive that started inside its own 10-yard line, and that ultimately wound up in a punt by the Hubs, and South was then able to take advantage after that, drive down the field and put points on the board. But Coach Pierre saying, I got confidence in my offense right now, and he'll put them right back out there on a 4th down and 3. Sonone in the backfield along with Townsend, the quarterback. He looks to throw. He's got plenty of time, and he throws high, and it is incomplete over the head of Kubu, broken up by Dillard.
So a calculated risk, and not, if you're going to do something like that, you know that you've got confidence in the defense because what you're saying is, okay, we turned it over. They're almost at midfield, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and we'll stop them. Defense do their job, and then the offense can pick it up, and we'll go.
This will be the best starting field position of the game for a North Hagerstown drive as they'll begin from their own 46. Dillard in motion for North, and a whistle prior to the snap, and a penalty flag down. And it's a false start against the Hubs.
Not sure that either team wants to just have 1st and 10.
Yeah, they're not comfortable with that. It's like they need a longer distance just to challenge themselves. So it'll be 1st and 15 after the 5-yard mark off. Plus! Neal quickly gets it into the hands of Chase Metz, and Metz is bumped out of bounds at the 44-yard line of South Hagerstown, and that should be a 1st down.
A dangerous little play, real quick pass, and let your skilled person do what he does best, to get the ball and turn upfield, get a little bit of a block down there, and turn that bad situation of 1st and 15 into a 1st and 10.
So just like that, North Hagerstown picks up the 1st down and promptly into South Hagerstown territory at the 43-yard line. Neal throws for Dillard, who has to double clutch to make the catch and then fights his way inside the 35-yard line, close to the 33.
It's a risky pass to throw out there, because if that thing is picked off, it's 6 points the other direction, and it was close to it. I think when you get your hand up, that sort of shielded it. But boy, you're in a great position if you're North High, because you're 2nd and less than a yard.
9-yard gain on the play. Ball at the 34 of the Rebels. And here goes Stottlemyre. He's got the 1st down and more. Boy, he burst through that 2nd level and was almost off to the races from there. Finally brought down at the 22-yard line.
It's a good job of running the ball, because there's no hesitation. Once you get it, you're going to just lower the shoulder, expect to get hit, but manage to make it through there, and you keep your eyes open, you can pick up some extra yards.
Ball at the 23 of the Rebels. Stottlemyre again, this time trying to turn the corner and cannot do so. Talik McKenzie makes the stop back at the 24.
That's a little bit of the defensive speed that South has, able to run down the sweep, push them back and force them to come back. Again, good coverage down there. Number 19 being in a position where he can turn it back inside.
I'll tell you what, you better get Stottlemyre before he turns the corner. He runs a 4.6 40, so when he gets out in the open field, it's tough to track him down. 2nd and long. Neal throws, and he undershoots Dillard on the far side, and that will bring up 3rd and 11. So all this accuracy from the quarterbacks early on, and now it's sort of left them a little bit.
That's a long pass to throw. You're going from hash to hash, and it came up short. You make the completion, you're in good shape. You have the incompletion, now you're 3rd and 11, so you got to come up with something big here.
Dillard getting a lot of room over on that right side. A lot of respect from Hodges. Neal rolls and looks that way, gets backside pressure, and now the pressure gets to him, and Roop will bring him down. Back behind the line of scrimmage, it'll be a sack and a loss of about 2 yards.
And North is very fortunate on that. It could have been a lot more, and again, that ball was a little bit hanging out there, could have been knocked out, so they were fortunate to get away with that one.
And North will go for it here on 4th down. It's 4th and 13. They need to get to the 13-yard line of the Rebels for a first down. And before they do anything, a sideline warning issued against North Hagerstown. 3 receivers to the left side of this set, 1 to the right. Stottlemyre lined up behind the quarterback, Neal.
You got to figure South is going to pin their ears back and come.
And Stottlemyre winds up with it in his hands as it went through the hands of the quarterback, and then Roop is right there to bring Stottlemyre down back at the 34-yard line. And in no way is that how North Hagerstown drew that play up. Stottlemyre rescued the football, but there was no chance of getting the first down from there. And it looked like Stottlemyre took a little exception to Roop making that play, that maybe Roop had gotten his hand up on the face mask, and there was a little talking after the play too, but nothing comes of it, and South gets the stop it needed. And the Rebels take over at their own 33, so no harm done after they couldn't convert the 4th down on their previous series, and they go right back at it offensively now with 6:44 left to go in the first half. Townsend for Ikubu. Turns it up and is out to about the 44-yard line. Ben Herrera on the stop.
And that's all downfield blocking by your other receivers. That's just a great job to allow him to get open and turn upfield and pick up yardage that he did pick up.
4th catch of the game for Ikubu. He now has 60 yards on those 4 receptions. From the 44, it's Sonone up the middle and pushes his way out to a first down. Finally dragged down at the 45-yard line of the Hubs.
You know, if you're a running back and you fumble the ball and you get taken out of the ball game, you just can't wait to get back in the ball game and show the coach that you're going to hold on to, and not only hold on to it, but show that you should be carrying the ball.
And Sonone doing just that as he picks up the first down and gets South back into plus territory at the North 45. And they'll give it to him again up the middle. It's still going, and down to the 30-yard line this time, carrying Herrera, who finally brought him down after 15 more.
There's that little bit of desire right now. I can run the ball, coach. I can hold on to it. I can pick up the yardage. There he goes.
And we've got a timeout called by the Hubs. And a pretty good one at that, I think, to try to stem the tide here a little bit. All of a sudden, South Hagerstown winning at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a very good call here. You got 2 long runs. You've got South with momentum right now. They're fired up a little bit, so you want to slow it down a little bit. Get your defense under control. Don't go getting yourself out of position. Play where you're supposed to play. Gap responsibility. They've run the ball a couple times now. Be aware in the secondary they might come back and put it up top, just a little flare pass. You got to be aware for everything that we've practiced all week. That's what he's got to be telling them right now. We're in good shape. Just don't give up that big play.
And North trying to find a way to get a stop here, or at least minimize whatever South Hagerstown's going to do. We're almost halfway through the second quarter. If you're the Hubs, you have to feel pretty good, really, about where things stand. You're only down by 1 score at the moment. You've been able to contain South for the most part. South hasn't played the most crisp of games to this point. But at some juncture, you're going to have to get something going on offense if you're North, but maybe it comes with a defensive spark. So we'll see what they can do here in terms of trying to keep South Hagerstown off the board. Maybe come up with another turnover, whatever it takes here on the north side. Just trying to do anything to kind of stop this South offense that right now isn't doing anything fancy, but is running right over that North defense, especially on those last 2 carries by Sinone. So here we go on first down. And there's the pass you were calling for, and it's a Kubu, and he just couldn't quite get there just outside the goal line.
So they took the shot, and again, what you're looking at, if you're South, you come out of that timeout, you're saying if they're going to be sitting up there playing run, you've got a bunch of people in the box, then let's go ahead. And this is just throw it up, let them run underneath it. It's just thrown just a little bit short, I would think. He had it should have been caught, but it wasn't.
Kubu's made some tremendous catches this season, and I know he'd love to have that one back. Boy, he made a great catch in South Hagerstown's win earlier this year over Mervo in week number 1, a 23-yard reception down in the right corner of the end zone, which actually wound up being the winning touchdown in that game. And he's made some great plays defensively. He's very much an underrated player, and on the keeper there, Townsend is tripped up by Jacob Sprecher, and Townsend will wind up gaining about 4 yards on the play, so that'll bring up 3rd down and 6 now.
And again, stretched out, it was just an arm tackle. Had the arm tackle not been made, there would have been possibly a 1st down out of that, maybe even more yardage. But you're still in pretty good shape if you're looking at 3rd and 6.
And at any rate, I think this is 4-down territory for South, so might try to get a little bit of it here on 3rd down. If you don't get it all, no problem. We'll go for it on 4th down. But it looks like they'll get it all on, well, maybe not. Well, Kubu then fights his way forward, and he should have the 1st down. Second effort may have gotten him there. He didn't have it when he caught the ball initially, but after the contact, it looks like he got just enough, a gain of 8.
19-yard line.
And that's one of those, again, you just roll into your left and you're throwing back, but it's a short pass, and your receiver is out in front of you, so that's an easy pass to throw right on the money. It's a nice catch that's made, and you pick up enough yardage to get the 1st down. It's not designed to score an 80-yard touchdown, but enough to pick up some short yardage.
7 completions now for Townsend, 5 of them to Akubu. Now Sinone tries the interior of that North Hagerstown defense and doesn't have a whole lot of luck this time around as the Hubs stand their ground. Horton and Herrera on the stop for North Hagerstown. But again, South gets a chunk. So it'll be 2nd and 7. And you have to figure, too, with South running as many plays as they've run here in the 1st half, and a North Hagerstown team that hasn't scored a ton of points in the 2nd half, North Hagerstown defense might be wearing down a little bit. South just keeps hitting them with these runs, especially between the tackles.
Yeah, this is punchy in the face, and here we go deep.
And Townsend to a Kubu, and that was a beautiful throw. Just dropped it right in there for the score from 16 yards out. So there it is, those body blows in the interior of the line, and then go up top with a little jab, and it winds up being the knockout punch.
And this is just practice. You're throwing the ball. The receiver is running to a spot. The ball's in the air as he makes the break, and the receiver knows exactly, Kubu knew where the ball was going to go, and it was there. And you're right, it's a basket catch. It's an easy one. That's what they just missed on the one prior to that they threw. This time they connected on it, and it's 6 points.
So Kubu with the 16-yard touchdown reception. And now Roop on for the point after. And this time, the standard 20-yard extra point is good. And the Rebels double their lead. 3:59 left to play in the 1st half. It's now South 14, North nothing. Back to School Stadium in just a moment.
It's here. It's breathtaking. it's ultra fast. Gigabit internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. Antietam Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
Welcome back to South Hagerstown High School, where the Rebels lead 14-0 over North with 3:59 left to play in the first half, having just completed an 8-play, 67-yard drive. Took 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and they cap it off with a 16-yard pass from Timmy Townsend to Lincoln Akubu. Zach Roop with the point after, and it's now a 14-0 advantage. And the Hubs try to get back into this football game before we get to halftime. Certainly not out of their reach, but they will start this drive from the 35, and they need to get something generated on offense. As I said, South has had the football so much longer here in this first half. They haven't had a drive that's lasted fewer than 5 plays, whereas over on the North Hagerstown side, they've only run 17 plays so far in the first half.
And it's tough because you're spending all that time during the practice week practicing offense, and you're almost playing an entire first half and only run 17 plays. So now you've got those plays that you wanted to come in and you wanted to run, but you're just not getting that feeling down that's going to make it comfortable and get that groove so that you can move the ball.
Stottlemyre gets the toss, runs to the right side, and it was McKenzie who was up there to make the initial contact. Stottlemyre able to bull ahead for another yard perhaps after the contact, but Talik McKenzie getting his shoulder into him and will limit him to a gain of about 3.5.
So again, you're trying to get outside, you're pulling a lineman, you get a good kick-out block, but the secondary and linebacking crew from South is just coming up and playing very, very well defensively.
And before this second down play, got a penalty marker down on the far side of the field. And it's offside against North Hagerstown.
And that's a tough one because you're on offense and you're lining up not on the ball. You're lining up on the wrong side. That's something that from day one you're taught. So you just got to be get focus back and get back into the ball game.
And that hurts the Hubs because that adds 5 yards on to what they need to gain here. Instead of a 2nd and 7, it's 2nd and 12. Pass comes to Metz on the near side, but he is taken down immediately by Nate Moore.
And you can see a little bit of frustration here. This is the difference. South ran this play and got some great downfield blocking. Good reception. You're on the run, but you're just being swarmed under by South defenders.
So now it's 3rd down and 13. Two receivers left, one to the right for Neal with Stottlemyre behind him. Neal to his right, chased by Stephen Dunn, gets away from him and then fires low, and it is incomplete, intended for Dillard.
But the South defense did exactly what it needed to do. You get a 3 and out from North, and you get an incomplete pass that's going to stop the clock. You've got plenty of time still on the clock to do something offensively, and you're going to get some good field position out of this because, again, North is going to be kicking from their own 32-yard line. So if you can get a little bit of a return on this, you're going to be in great shape.
North takes just 1 minute and 34 seconds off the clock. Again, 3 and out on that possession, and not at all what they wanted to do. And now a low punt by Hartman, but it will not be returnable. And we'll come to rest at the 37-yard line of South Hagerstown with 2:17 remaining in the first half.
A good part of the field to be working from because your playbook is open right now. You can do just about anything. And you've got a 14-point lead, so you can go ahead and you can attempt to do something that you can get you on the board quick or get you a good chunk of yardage, a 10-15-yard gain if you got a play designed to do something like that. So it's wide open for South right now.
Maloney in as the quarterback with Sonone standing to his right. And a timeout called by North with 2:17 left in the first half. And South Hagerstown, so far in this game, has really mixed it up a great deal. They've thrown 10 passes so far in this first half. It kind of kept North Hagerstown off balance a little bit because, as you said, when they come up and they put everybody up in the box, South not adverse to going up over top or even throwing underneath those extended handoff type passes.
Yeah, those little passes, again, are ones that can kill you. And what happens when you start completing those little underneath passes for 5, 7, 8 yards, then that secondary tends to cheat up. And once they start cheating up or standing flat-footed and not running with the receiver as he goes downfield, you get somebody that's going to be wide open, and all you got to do is just drop the ball into the basket.
South coming into tonight's game, having run the ball on 69% of their plays this season, but their pass efficiency hasn't been bad, 56% this season. So they've certainly worked that into the mix tonight, as mentioned. And now Maloney, who hasn't thrown a pass so far tonight, is the quarterback on this drive following the timeout. And here's his first attempt, and it's complete to the guy who has been Townsend's favorite target so far tonight, Akubu, and it's another first down as he skips out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
See, and that's what you want to do there. You got that playbook open so you can throw that thing downfield for a 10-yard gain, get out of bounds right now. And if you're not going to get out of bounds, you could have turned it upfield, but it still would have been close to the sideline. Not much time, you got the ball.
And now Townsend in at quarterback. And Townsend tucks it under, and he's out to the 42-yard line before Ronnie Walker knocks him out of bounds.
And again, you're pretty smart with your play column because you're running it back in towards the sideline, into your bench. You can tell those people that are carrying the ball, receiving the ball, get out of bounds, stop the clock. Not much time off. You picked up 8 yards. Wide open playbook.
And Maloney back in at quarterback. And Sonone, boy, he looked upfield before he made the catch because he was thinking about what he was going to do next.
Yeah. And he had some room out there, too. Again, just that little swing pass, and if that's completed, nothing more than, like you say, an extended handoff, and you can get a running start on that. Tough one to drop.
For the success that Coach Pierre has been able to have with this team this season, it's amazing to me that this quarterback rotation has worked as well as it has. I remember Hall of Fame coach John Madden saying, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Well, at South this year, when you have 2, you got 2. And they've done a great job so far this season. And that's a little exchange mix-up there between Townsend and Sonone, and Townsend able to get back on it. And that was nearly a gift for North Hagerstown, but South able to get the football back. So they left it there on the ground, but Townsend able to jump back on it.
Still a great gift for North because you're going to get the first down if you're South and you've got time. Now you know North is going to get the ball, and those points that South possibly could have scored are not going to go on the board.
So McKenzie on to kick. And that is off the side of his foot. And we'll take a roll to the 31-yard line of the Hubs with 1:09 to play in the second quarter.
So now if you're North with 1:09 left to go, do you try and do something to see if you can pick up some yardage run-wise or a short pass, or do you attempt to try and go long and get some points on the board right away?
I think you try to go down the field here because South gets the ball to start the second half. You got a big receiver in Dillard. I'm not sure anybody can match up with him in the secondary in terms of height if you can get the ball to him, but see what Coach Jackson and Coach Staines think over on the North Hagerstown side. Well, we'll try the run here with Neal hanging on to it. And Neal will be brought down at about the 32. Picked up a hard-earned yard, and that was about it. And the clock will continue to run down to 50 seconds to play.
So I don't anticipate a pass coming on this play.
Yeah, I think he tried to stretch the field. He just tried. Well, they go underneath for Dillard, and he will get out of bounds at about the 40. And he will be about a yard short of a first down. Does stop the clock. The reason I say go down the field is if you go way down the field, then South has so much yardage to have to pick up if the ball somehow is turned over. Dillard will get out of bounds again, this time at the 48.
Yeah, and that's a wise play there. That's, again, running it back into North's bench towards the sideline, and the cornerback over there is back at 15 yards. This is just easy pitch and catch. Now, you got to be careful that that outside linebacker doesn't drop off and intercept this as it's thrown, but that safety is back there a good 12 yards.
He's getting that big cushion again. I mentioned that earlier against Dillard because they do respect his speed. And now a good look to Metz out of the slot, and he is down to the 44, but the clock will keep running here. And North will call its last time out. So a 7-yard gain on the play to Metz. And North trying to just move the football down the field, picking up these chunks of yardage, but again, time not on their side with less than 18 seconds to play.
And you have no timeouts. He's used their last one, so you either have to get out of bounds or you have to get downfield. But of course, pick up first down. That's going to stop it for a little bit, but you got to get up and get ready to go. So I'm anticipating you're going to see something along. And this might be one of those situations where if you've practiced a special play for this game, you might want to pull it out of your bag right now and go ahead and throw it.
Neal has been pretty accurate tonight, 8 of 11 so far, but it's only resulted in 52 yards. South's kept pretty much everything right in front of them. So they've contained, and again, North really hasn't thrown anything way down the field. Some of the yardage that North has gained has come after the catch, but South's done a good job of keeping things in front of them. Of course, last week against Jefferson, they saw plenty of passing, so they had plenty of practice trying to defend that. Neal goes across the middle, and this would stop the clock with the first down, even if Metz can't get out of bounds, and he does get out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
So now you're in a position where you can go ahead and throw that ball into the end zone with 13 seconds to go, but you're again 20-yard line, 25-yard line.
And Metz again makes the catch, and that is going to end the first half unless somehow North can miraculously get to the line of scrimmage, and I don't think they're going to get the football spotted. And they're not. And that is going to do it. First half will come to an end, so probably one of the more promising drives for North Hagerstown, although South, again, just keeping everything in front of it there, knowing the situation in the game. Time not on North's side as pointed out, and South now will get the ball to start the second half, enjoying a 14-0 lead here at the break. So not a picture-perfect first half by any means for South Hagerstown, but you look at the scoreboard, 14 on the Rebels side, nothing for North Hagerstown. So all in all, pretty good first half in terms of getting the job done by South Hagerstown. We'll come back with our halftime show, including Mark Keller. Mark had told me earlier today he'll try to have some updates on some of those games that might impact the South Hagerstown playoff picture. We'll find out if he's got that and take a look at the first half stats and everything else here so far as this big 60th matchup between North and South Hagerstown. At the break, the Rebels on top by 2 touchdowns. We'll be back in just a moment.
Have you ever felt like you were up to your neck in alligators when trying to buy a used car? They promise you one thing, but don't deliver.
The payment is $100 more than you said. As is? If it's such a great car, why is it as is?
I'm going to High-Low Auto Sales. See you later, alligator.
When buying a car, don't try to wrestle with alligators.
Let the pros at High-Low worry about your credit. Hurry into High-Low Auto Sales, where you always get a 6-month, 6,000-mile warranty. Go to highlowAutoSales.com today.
To hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Champions are not merely born, they're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny. To shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
Welcome back to School Stadium at halftime. The Rebels leading the Hubs by a score of 14-0, and time to get a little insight from the field. Let's head down to Mark Keller. Mark?
All right, thanks, Wes. 14-0 here at halftime. South Hagerstown leading North Hagerstown in the 60th city game. Not a lot of offensive flow in this one. Seems like neither team able to get anything really sustained going offensively. South able to get punching in twice here, but they all have been playing well defensively, keeping North at bay offensively. A couple halftime scores here we want to get to you that will affect South in their chase for the playoffs. The big one right now, Oakdale leading Tuscarora 14-7. Oakdale winning that one would pretty much shut the door on South getting into the postseason. That's 14-7 Oakdale over Tuscarora. Some other scores, Williamsport beating Clear Spring 28-12 in the second quarter. Jefferson over Washington 16-0. That game also late in the second quarter. At halftime, Seneca Valley beating Gaithersburg 12-7. Seneca Valley is 6th in 3A West right now, right behind South Hagerstown. They have enough bonus points that they would move past South Hagerstown, but South has more opportunities for additional bonus points that Seneca Valley does not have. Westminster beating South Carroll 27-0. That late in the second quarter. No score available to us on Mergenthaler and Digital Harbor. One other game that doesn't affect South Hagerstown here, but of interest to the county. Boonesboro beating Smithsburg right now 29-14. That late in the second quarter. You've probably noticed that some of the North High players having some different colors, different from their usual red, white, and black scheme. Many Hubs players wearing orange wristbands, orange tape, orange t-shirts underneath their jerseys tonight. Doing this in advance of Color the Orange Day, Color the World Orange Day, I should say, which takes place on Monday. The day's to raise awareness of complex regional pain syndrome. It's a chronic condition that causes continuous intense pain out of proportion to the severity of an injury, usually affecting a person's arms, legs, hands, or feet. It's a condition that affects Tracy Staines, who is the wife of North head coach Greg Staines. Tracy is a graduate of South High, a very private person, but she felt the need to share her struggles with that condition on Facebook recently, and Greg Staines was so moved that he recruited his team to help in the movement, part of the Color of the World Orange movement, and thus the orange highlights in the Hubs uniforms here this evening. So if you'd like to learn more about the condition, you can check out a story that ran in the lifestyle section of the Herald Mail newspaper today. See that online as well at heraldmailmedia.com. You can also go to colortheworldorange.com and or search Color the World Orange on Facebook. Wes, send it back up to you.
Thank you very much, Mark. And at halftime, South up by 2 scores, and I think Mark hit on it. You know, nobody really getting anything too sustained in the first half, but you know what South was able to do in order to score the 2 touchdowns is sort of the MO of this team. It's nothing spectacular, but it pays off in points. 2 8-play drives. They navigated 68 and 67 yards on those drives, respectively. 4 minutes and 46 seconds of possession on the first one, 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the second one, and mixing up the run and the pass.
Yeah, and right now, the mood in both locker rooms is very different. North is frustrated right now. They're down 14-0. They felt like they had a chance to put some points on the board. They weren't able to get the play off at the end. They weren't able to get it stopped. Those youngsters are frustrated. On the other hand, South's locker room right now, what they're saying is, we're okay, but we can be better. And so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on getting back to doing things the right way, and everything's going to fall into place. North has the bigger challenge right now. They've got to get their group back and focused on the game and forget about that first half and what has happened there.
Well, you look at the way these two teams have played through the course of the regular season, and North Hagerstown comes in averaging just under 17 points per game. So to be down 14 at the half, and again, as I pointed out, not a real good second half team, it may be an even bigger uphill battle than looking at putting 2 touchdowns on the board just to get even. South averaging just over 21 points per game, but they're allowing just over 21 points per game. So that means that they're a tough defense, because I pointed out the opponent's record, 49-32, the opponents that South's played this year. Play some pretty good teams, and there's no doubt about that. And they've hung in there outside of giving up the 41 against Westminster. They really haven't had a bad defensive game this year. When they've needed to buckle down, they've come up with big plays. Yes, they give up 33 last week against Jefferson, but when they needed to come up with a big play at the end of the game, they did. And I think that's what's so encouraging about such a young football team.
Yeah, what it is that learning process, and you're seeing it on the field where players are reacting to certain situations. The North may get away with something to begin with, but I think the South players will adjust on the field, and that's not really coaching all the time. What that is just the ability of the youngster out there to say, I've seen this before, this is what's going to happen, so I'm going to react to it. I'm going to come up, I'm going to make the tackle, I'm going to get it stopped.
Well, I think it says a lot about South Hagerstown and the way that they play and the way that they've been coached. When you see some of the mistakes that they made, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this is week 10 and they're making those mistakes, but then they bounce back and they overcome those mistakes. That's the big thing, because errors, mistakes, things like that are going to happen from time to time, but how do you respond to those things?
Yeah, and you tell your players all the time, this is a 48-minute ball game. You've got a lot of time to go. You can't let this 1 second, this 10 seconds that you did from this play that turned into something good for the opponent, and you can't let that affect you the rest of the game. You still have the rest of the game to play. They've got 24 minutes to play, and anything can happen in 24 minutes. We've seen that in a lot of ball games. So I think South does a very good job of not getting caught up in the moment. Just play the ball game and do what you've got to do. If something goes wrong, something doesn't go your way, you bounce back from that, you get it fixed, you do it the right way. They're a very intelligent team. They're a very patient team. They listen well, they respond well, they play well together. And you're right, as a young team, that's very encouraging as a coach.
And speaking of the coaches, and Mark mentioned Coach Staines over on the North Hagerstown side, and it's been a rough go. There's no doubt about that. 3 wins so far, and this being now his third season. And some would say, I guess this is officially his second season as a head coach. That first one maybe considered to be an interim head coach situation. It was very tough the way that he took over for that first season, but 3 wins and 26 losses overall. But I'm telling you what, I'm not sure that there's a harder working head coach out there. When I talked to him before the season started, his wife was wondering where he was some nights. And I'm sure that that's been the situation with you back when you were coaching. You never feel like you can put in enough time, and you have the personal relationship with the players too. It goes beyond just the coaching. And you hear it all the time, and I'm not sure that outsiders understand when you talk about creating that family.
Yeah, you're right. It is that I'll go back to just a little personal thing that happened tonight with the return of all these players, and you see these players who come up, and as soon as you see them, it's a mutual hug. It's, if somebody's on the outside looking, saying, why are two men hugging each other? But it's just that. It is a family. You spend so much time with those players, and they spend so much time with you, and you learn to trust them, and they learn to trust you. There's a bond that just, it's there between coach and player. And Coach Staines has done a very nice job at North, just to keep that program together and alive and be competitive and be able to play and have the kids, being in the situation that they're in right now. That says a lot for him and his staff.
And I think that we've seen the strides made this year, and that's what I was alluding to when I said North's been a much better first half team. They've challenged teams in the first half. The second half, it seems like they've gotten worn down a little bit, or whatever the case may be. The second half hasn't been as kind to them, but they've shown that they are an improving team. I mean, they beat Smithsburg 31-6, and that's turned out to look like a pretty good win now, given the fact that Smithsburg had won 3 in a row coming into this week. They shut out Frederick. That was the first shutout victory for North Hagerstown in forever. It was since the first week of the 2011 season, since North had shut out an opponent 58 games. They snapped a 14-game home losing streak against Frederick 2 weeks ago. So lots of positives over there. On the South Hagerstown side, again, just maybe the most remarkable coaching job that Coach Pierre has done at South so far, and that's saying a lot, because here's the guy who is the fastest head coach in Washington County history to 50 victories. He did it in 70 games. Comes into tonight with 51 wins overall, 2 playoff appearances, hoping if things break right here before the night's over that it'll be number 3. But regardless of how it all plays out, whether it's a 7-3 record or whatever it may be before this season's over, just what he has been able to do here at South Hagerstown. And again, I think to some degree, and he may not say this publicly, but I think it surprised him a little bit, even him a little bit, what this team has done, because it's a lot that's ingrained in these players. Yes, coaching goes into it, but what are they bringing to the table? How much are they buying in? And then it just sort of, creates a whole different life from there.
Yeah, you hit upon it. Once they buy in, they're in. They're with you. They're with you the whole way, and they will do what you ask them to do, and they will respond, and they'll respond in a positive manner. Even when things don't go the way that you want them to go, they're going to respond. They're going to listen. They're going to come back, and you're right. That's exactly what they're doing. And if you can get a young group of individuals to do that for you, and know that they're going to come back next year, that's one less worry that you have as a head coach. You know that they're there. Now you can concentrate on other areas.
And he pretty much scripted out the way he thought that this season would go ideally if everything played out just right. He said before the season started, we're going to try to do less. We're going to try to do more with less this season. And that's not denigrating the players that he had. What he was saying was less experience than we've had before, but we're going to try to do more with that. And as the season goes along, we may start out, we may be very vanilla, but as the season goes along, we're going to work more in here as these guys, get better. They understand it more. They're able to go out and execute it better. By the end of the season, we'll be much different than when we started. But, man, they started so great. They had 3 straight wins. Then the 2 losses, which to me were really character games. I mean, a 20-0 shutout against Linganore, and then a loss the next week out, which, again, may be the loss that hurts them for the rest of the year in terms of getting to the postseason at Westminster. Again, a game that was postponed from a Friday to a Saturday. But then they bounced back the next week and beat an undefeated Tuscarora team. Then they lose by 2 touchdowns to Fort Hill, and really the difference in that game was just some big plays that Fort Hill made. Fort Hill did not beat South Hagerstown down. As a matter of fact, South had the lead a couple of times in that game, and then they win a game that they probably should have won at Williamsport, and then they go to Jefferson, exact revenge for a loss at home last year, and now here they are, again, not knowing the way things were going to play out, potentially from a playoff scenario standpoint, possibly on the brink of playing yet another game this season.
Yeah, and that's that's what you do. You go week to week, and Coach Pierre has said it all along, and he's absolutely right that you take one day at a time. You go out to practice, you practice one day at a time. But I think the key point that you said is right at the beginning. The players learned what to do. And so if you've got a team that you're taking your base plays and you can get those base plays in and they execute it well against certain defenses or defensively against certain offensives, and they understand that, then as week 2 and week 3 and week 4 roll along, then you don't have to spend so much time on those base plays. You can start digging into that playbook and starting doing different things off of that and say, okay, now we were doing this, so let's take this same look and let's do this, or we're going to run the same play out of a different formation now, but it's still going to be the same thing. And they'll start to see that, and that's where you start to get that more out of it, because you've got the basic fundamentals down at the beginning part of it.
Well, I always pay attention to you, and you tell me that in high school football, it's very hard for teams to sustain those long drives because inevitably, at some point, there could be a mistake. The longer that drive is, the greater the chance that could happen. That's why I marvel at this South team, because this young team has done so well this year in sustaining long drives. Against South Carroll, that's what that game was all about. In regulation, 2 very long drives. They make a great defensive stand to start overtime, and then on the very first play, they get in for a touchdown. And that night, I almost felt like the team grew up so much to get that overtime win. I mean, they did things that a lot of high school teams with much more experienced players could not do. And just to see them pull that game out that night, to me, I said, you know what, this team just might have something, and maybe we won't see the best of this team this year, because a lot of those guys are going to be around for next year, and some of them for the year after that. So this is very promising.
Yes, it is very promising, and you're right. It is very difficult to have a sustained drive, not only because you're going to make a mistake, but sometimes the officials make a call, and
what
you've sometimes. I'm not saying a lot here, but sometimes, because they're
writing this down.
They're only human too, and
sometimes
they make a call that
the officials.
Well, I'm getting myself in hot water now, aren't I?
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. We're just having some fun, but
yeah.
No,
but that's something that they have to overcome, and they've done it tonight. They've taken a first down, 1st and 10, and now it becomes a 2nd and 25, and they've overcome that, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, growing pains can be extremely painful, or they can be something that is short-lived. The pain hits, and then you fix it right away. And that's kind of the way they've been able to do things the better part of the season. Looking at some of these first half stats, it's interesting. North Hagerstown sort of caught up to South a little bit in number of plays in that first half. By the time it ended, North had run 26 plays in the first half, and South with 31. Rushing yardage in the first half, North held to just 28 yards rushing. South had 79, and with South being a little more proficient in running the ball, it opened up that passing game a little bit. 153 yards through the air for South in the first half to 71 for North. 99 total yards on the north side, 232 for South in the first half. And that translates into, if you look at yards per play, only 3.8 for North, 7.5 for South Hagerstown.
Yeah, and a lot of those plays, those short passing play games that South is doing, you're getting the downfield blocking. It truly is remarkable when you see them work as a team. There isn't any selfishness out there. You've got good downfield blocking. Something that should be a 5-yard gain turns into that 15-yard gain, and not so much because of the receiver being a great receiver and making a great run, but because of what's happening downfield, although some of those catches have been pretty good catches.
And North Hagerstown started this game very shaky, losing the opening kickoff, but then their defense made a big play, taking the ball right back from South Hagerstown. Those were the only turnovers of the first half, and they came very early. South put the football on the ground a couple more times, but they were able to get it back, so that did not ultimately wind up hurting them. And again, the two scoring drives by South, the first one coming with 2 minutes, culminating with 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Townsend with a 2-yard run, Roop with the extra point kick, and that 7-0 lead. All important first points, I think, in any game like this. And then in the second quarter, South doubling the lead with 3:59 to go. Kubu catching the 16-yard pass from Townsend, and Roop with the point after to make it 14-0. And again, each of those drives, 8 plays, 68 yards on the first one, 8 plays, 67 yards on the second one.
Yeah, and it is kind of amazing. You talk 68 and 67, and just as we're saying, it's hard to sustain those long drives. Those are 2 pretty long drives, one of them being 4 minutes and the other one almost at half the amount of time. So, but it did open up the passing game, and they just did a really nice job with that. So, again, you have that initial momentum, that initial adrenaline going. That part of it is over right now. The big question is, North came out of that locker room, is the frustration in them gone? Or are they back to playing with the fire that they had when they first came out?
And how do you focus starting the second half? That's another thing, because again, there's certainly some emotions. This game, only a 2-touchdown game at halftime. As you said, North maybe a little bit upset going into the locker room. You don't want to come out and make a mistake because of that that's fueled by emotion to start the second half, because you have to buckle down and play some defense because South is going to get the football first.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you say to them. You know, hey, that first half is over. It doesn't matter what happened. We're down by 2 scores. You know what? We had to score in order to win anyway. So we're going to go out. We're going to score. We're going to cut it down to 1. Defensively, we're going to make the adjustments here. We're going to play. We're going to stop their passing game. We're going to make sure that we make tackles. We've been doing a pretty good job with the running game. And once we get that first score, if we can get that in the third quarter and keep them out of the end zone, then we've got the fourth quarter. We can go ahead and we can play. And you know what? If we're down 14-13 and we score, we can go for 2 points and we can win the ball game. And that's what the kids have to believe, and they have to come out and do.
Candidly, without North Hagerstown doing something to get themselves a short field, are they going to have to change what they're doing offensively to win this football game? I mean, did you see that they did enough in the first half, or is South just happy with what North did offensively in the first half because they pretty much shut it down, held them to 99 total yards?
I think what North did, and I might be wrong in this, but I think they came out with a group of plays that they were going to run, and they attempted to do those plays on different series, and you're 3 and out, or you're 4 and out, and you're 5 and out, so that play didn't work. They need to settle in on a package that they're going to do. Are they going to try and run the ball outside to set up the inside game? Are they going to throw the short passing game to set up the long passing game, or to set up the run? They have to decide as a staff what they want to do and then stick to that, not just take a play here, take a play there. This is on the play sheet. Let's try this, let's try that, and it doesn't work. The kids have to get a rhythm. They have to get that rhythm down as to what they're going to do.
And as a head coach, I'm just curious here. I don't know the answer to this, but did you ever have a season where you played 2 quarterbacks the way that South Hagerstown has done this year with rotating them in and out?
No, never did that. You sometimes go into a season not knowing who the quarterback is going to be, and so you rotate a little bit at the beginning part of the season, but generally what happens is one of them just takes control of the team, and you really don't have to make the decision. They make the decision themselves. What I said earlier, when somebody comes to you and says, I want to be the quarterback, well, that's a big plus over here in your side. So both of these guys being able to go in, and it's hard when you're sitting on the bench and you're cold, and all of a sudden you go in and give the offensive line a lot of credit too, because you're just listening to a different cadence. You're not jumping off sides. You're doing what you need to do, even though you've got a different quarterback in there. It poses a whole bunch of problems for the defense, because now you're not looking at just what one kid can do. You're looking at what both of them can do, and they both bring something different to the table.
And that's exactly it. I asked Lincoln Akubu earlier this season, I said, is that strange? And he said, well, a little bit, because the guys have different skill sets. So even as a wideout, I need to be prepared to do something different when there's a different signal caller in there. So I need to be on my toes, depending upon who it is who's in there, and realizing and recognizing what they're bringing to the game. So just about ready to start the third quarter here, and North will kick off to South, and the Rebels with a 2-touchdown advantage. And this is a bit of a short kickoff, and this one eludes everybody, and then Dutrow is able to cover it up. Boy, anxious moments there for South Hagerstown. And one of the seniors on the South team, McCoy Dutrow, able to get on it back inside the 25-yard line.
So even though you're not coming up with the ball, you know, if you're North, you're saying, okay, this is what we wanted to do. We've got South deep in their territory. We just have to stop them on this first series, make sure that they can go 3 and out. They don't get that 3rd down and 8 and pick up the 1st down.
So Townsend in at quarterback to start this 3rd quarter with Sonone standing behind him, and I'm sorry, that's McKenzie. And McKenzie able to shrug off 1 tackle attempt, but not the 2nd one, as Walker brings him down after a gain of 2.
McKenzie, the ball carrier.
So again, it looks like North has a little bit of that momentum back, a little bit of that fire. That's a tackle that probably should have been made. A good job holding on to the ball, making sure that he's not going to fumble, but good pursuit by North to come up and make the tackle for a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way you're going to bring down Talik McKenzie up that high. That's just not going to work. 2nd down, McKenzie remains in behind the quarterback Townsend and gets the handoff, this time to the left side, and finds a big hole over there and spins his way out to the 40-yard line. Campbell brings him down after a gain of almost 15 yards.
So you went inside, now you're going to go outside here, and a good cover up the ball, good possession of it, make sure that you don't fumble, lower the shoulders, run over people and pick up 15 yards. That's a nice high school run.
McKenzie in the first half, 3 carries for -2 yards after he fumbled the football. Not sure that he saw the football field again after that, after he lost that fumble that stopped South on its first drive. But started the second half with a couple of good runs. And here on 1st down, there's no room to be found over on the left side as Coach Peart makes sure he puts it in his hands again. McKenzie able to burrow for 1. So 2nd and 9 coming up.
This is a big play for North. If you can get him in at a 3rd and long situation, you got a possibility of getting the ball back.
Townsend throws to a Kubu, who makes a juggling catch. He is hit immediately by Smith. And it will be a short gain, a pickup of 3.
And there's something that's a little bit different from the first half, because that play, the first half, was going to pick up more than just the 3 yards that it did there. So good job by North coming up, making the tackle, not allowing Kubu to break the tackle, and limiting the gain. Big play right now here for North, I think.
3rd and 5 for the Rebels from their own 45. And Townsend keeps, and Townsend is to the 50-yard line, very close to the 1st down.
Number 5, Keon Campbell on the stop. Ball is placed at midfield.
And evidently saying he is just short of the 1st down. That looks close enough to measure.
That's very, very close. I'm surprised they're not measuring. It's 4th down, but with that short of a distance to go, and they went 4th down earlier, I mean, this could be this should be a 1st down here.
4th and inches, and Maloney comes in at quarterback with Sonone in the backfield, and now South moves early. See, that's why if you don't get the 1st down there, anything can happen.
Boy, and that's a breaker right there. Now big decision to be made, and I think you got to go ahead and punt the ball here, and they're going to. So North has dodged a big bullet right there, a big bullet.
That is huge. And again, I think I would have been asking for a measurement on that previous carry, because boy, that was awfully close.
Well, from up here it looked that way. You know, when you're down on the sideline, you can see right across on that, and apparently the officials didn't think that it was that close either.
So McKenzie into punt. And this one will take a hop. It'll be taken at the 25-yard line by Metz. Starts to the far side of the field, and Metz out to the 32. But yeah, you have to consider that a huge win for North Hagerstown there, to get South to run 5 plays and then have to punt the football away.
Yeah, and you're getting pretty good field position out of this, so this is what you told them you wanted to happen at halftime, and it's happened. So now the second part of this, or the next part of this phase, is can the offense put some points on the board or move the ball at least that much and put South in bad field position.
And North has to be a little bit encouraged by that final drive of the first half. I know South was probably just making sure everything was underneath, but at the same time, you see those plays being run, those catches being made. Has to feel pretty good on the north side that perhaps in the second half we can come out and at least do a little bit of that, move the football down the field, put a little pressure on South. And it's Neal trying to bounce it outside. Still not able to really turn it up north and south, and is taken down by Moore after a pickup of 3.
Yeah, it's good job defensively. You just string it out. Don't let anything get outside. And the more you string it out, the more then you have an opportunity for your defenders to come in and make the play.
Yeah, there was just no edge to be had there. South did a great job of keeping everything inside of its defense. And prior to the snap, a false start against North Hagerstown.
Those are the kind of mistakes that you said after into the 10th game that you should not be making at this stage of the game.
Well, you look at it and you say it's only a 5-yard penalty, but man, picking up an extra 5 yards against the South defense has proven to be very difficult tonight.
And it all depends what you really pick up on this play.
Yeah, well, why make it harder on yourselves? And this time, Neal pulls it right out of the belly of Stottlemyre, and he is going to run into the arms of South defenders on the outside. It was Roop and Bertrand who combined on the stop after a gain of about 3 yards.
So now you're looking at 3rd and 10. Had you not had the penalty, it would be 3rd and 5, and that's much more attainable than the 3rd and 10 is.
3 receivers left, 1 to the right, nobody in the backfield with Neal. Now Stottlemyre in motion. Neal looks right, gets pressure from Roop, and he throws it up, and it's intercepted at the 42-yard line by Akubu. And Akubu is on the loose inside the 30-yard line and brought down at the 28.
That one was just thrown up in the air, and there were 2 South defenders there. It was a matter of who was going to make the interception, and Akubu came up with it, and then a nice return coming back on that. And it's always nice to see that your defenders on the defensive team are trying to make blocks for you once you make that interception.
That's Lincoln Akubu's 5th interception of the season. And a penalty against South Hagerstown will nullify the better part of that return. He had intercepted the ball at the 42 of South Hagerstown, and they may wind up with the football inside the 42-yard line. Yep, they'll take it back to the 41. So that's a break for North. Yes, they turned the football over, but that return goes by the boards because of the penalty on South. And now the Rebels with their own 41 with Maloney at quarterback. And Sonone gets the handoff. Initial pressure from Aaron Horton sort of blew that play up, and then a bunch of his teammates get there to make the stop from that point.
And there was no place for him to go once the handoff was made. You had North defenders all over it, and again, they're closing in. First man hold him up, second man, third man try and strip the ball out. Nothing was going to happen as far as a fumble goes, but there was very limited gain.
In on the play for North, it will be 2nd down and 9. And Maloney with 3 receivers to the right, throws to the inside man, and he threw behind him and low, and it goes incomplete looking for Bertrand, and that will bring up a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, that was a very well planned play. Had that been the ball been on the money, that would have been a very big gainer because that middle field was wide open.
Yeah, South just missing on some plays tonight that would have gone a long distance, including that one. So again, 3rd and long for the Rebels. Eric Townsend at quarterback for Akubu, who makes a great catch. at the 37-yard line.
And there you go. You go to your clutch receiver, and that ball is out there, and you make a great play on it. I'm sure they've seen this a lot in practice. Little juke to the outside, turn back to the inside. Ball's right on the money. Make the catch, hold on to it when you hit the ground. Big play, big play.
So Ikubu with his 9th reception of the night. As we're almost halfway through the third quarter, he has really factored in for the Rebels as Townsend stutter steps and gets just across the line of scrimmage.
A nice defensive play here. You shed the block and then come off the block and make the tackle. This was a good job by North.
Jacob Connor, one of the first there for the Hubs, and it will be 2nd and 9. Ikubu with 124 yards receiving on the night now on those 9 receptions. Townsend on 2nd and 9 gives it to Sonone, and he runs hard inside the 30-yard line down to about the 28.
He's not going to let one person bring him down, that's for sure. When he gets hit, he keeps moving, and the thing of it is, he moves forward with this too, and that's what you want out of your running back. Just keep those legs driving and pick up that extra yard.
It's a gain of 7. He now has 55 yards rushing on the night. And it will be 3rd down and a long 2 for South Hagerstown from just inside the 29-yard line. And it's Townsend reading, and he bounces it outside and will follow his blockers down to about the 22.
And so now you've got North reeling a little bit because you don't know what's going to do, what South is going to do. They throw the ball, they run inside, they run outside. South's doing a pretty good job mixing their plays up and keeping North on their heels.
As you said, that was a backbreaker, that catch by Ikubu. That changed everything.
You always go back to a couple plays, and that's one that you want to remember right there. That kept the drive going and the momentum on South side and really deflates North a little bit.
And the ball out of the hands of North's offense, and down by 2 scores. Clearly they need it and trying not to go down by 3. Townsend fires into traffic, and it's caught. It's pulled in by Dutrow at the 11-yard line. And that's another 1st down. It's a gain of 11.
That looked like a pretty good play both ways. Thread the needle here, get it to the receiver, but the defender was right there at the same time. So that's a nice throw. That's a nice catch.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from just outside the 10. Just over 8 minutes gone by in the third quarter. And McKenzie trying to bounce it outside, turns it up, and we'll get down to about the 6-yard line. Smith on the stop, along with Stevens for North Hagerstown.
And Stevens did a good job stretching it out. You just got to have that secondary and the linebackers come up a little bit sooner to limit that yardage. But South is doing now exactly what they want to do. They're running the clock, and they're in a position where they can score. That gives less time for North to score and more points that North has to make up.
And this drive has lasted over 4 minutes so far, and South still working. McKenzie to the left side this time and nowhere to go. Dillard was able to grab him from behind initially, and then the red jerseys enveloped him.
55, Michael Stevens, number 10.
And it'll be a loss of a couple on the play. Third down coming up, back at the 8-yard line.
Now you're double tight, your motion, you're running up the middle, clock is running, and again, you're in real good field position, but now you're looking at 4th down, so you've got to come up with something.
Sonome getting the call and picks up the yardage that was lost on the previous play. Gain of about 2. And it'll be 4th down and 4 just outside the 5-yard line.
The ball spurted up, but he was down on that. At that stage of the game, you don't want to stick that ball out of there. You want to hang on to it. It's a big play again here for North if they can get him stopped.
Townsend to his right. Throws, and it is incomplete. And it was intended for Bertrand, and no penalty flags on the field. It was defended by Smith, and North gets the stop.
And again, if you're South, you're still sitting back there and saying, good job, offense, because what you've done is you've taken a lot of time off the clock. You put North in bad field position. They've got to go 95 yards. You know, we're in good shape.
Nearly 5.5 minutes coming off the clock on that drive, and now North starts from its own 5-yard line. So the uphill battle continues for the Hubs, down by 2 touchdowns and starting deep in their own end. And Stottlemyre gets the call. Stottlemyre backs his way out to close to the 15-yard line. They'll mark him short of the first down by about half a yard.
Play is really stretched out, and you got around a long way. You did get a little bit of the edge here and get up the field, but again, just that little step back picked up some yardage to get you close to the first down.
Inside the final minute of the third quarter, Neal to Dillard on the far side, and Dillard got a little isolation over there and was nearly able to slip away. Shown the boundary at about the 27. That'll be a gain of 13, but it almost went for a lot more.
A nice throw, good catch, turn it upfield, and you're absolutely right. Just grabbing the jersey, and that's the only thing that kept him there.
Hodges did a good job. He was a man on an island out there. Now out to the 28-yard line and back to the ground with Stottlemyre. And Stottlemyre fights his way to the 30, a pickup of 2. Roop makes the stop. As we near the final half minute of the third quarter. Still a 2-touchdown game, exactly where we were at halftime. We're trying to put something together here to get to within 1 score. It's 70 yards away from the end zone. Chase Metz makes the catch, and Metz out to the 41-yard line. And that will be a pickup of 11 and a first down.
Again, it's that little short passing game, the 5, 6, 7 yards downfield, and then once you catch it, hope that you can break something and get it upfield.
Metz with his 6th catch of the night. Inside 10 seconds remaining in the third. Neal to Dillard, and Dillard had to go down to the ground to make the catch, and he's down there after a pickup of 4. That's his 6th catch of the night. And that is the end of the third quarter. At the end of 3 from School Stadium, South Hagerstown 14, North Hagerstown nothing. Back live on the Antietam Cable in just a moment.
Hamilton Nissan made buying my new Nissan Rogue an easy decision. Every car they sell automatically comes with their Hamilton for Life program. With it, I get free oil changes, free tire rotations, free car washes, and Hamilton's limited lifetime engine guarantee. And this mom didn't pay a dime for that peace of mind. It completely took the worrying out of car buying, and it's keeping my family on schedule. And we have a lot of places to go.
The Hamilton for Life program, getting you where you need to go.
Here's to the people who put in the long hours, the ones who drive this community, take risks, create opportunities, sacrifice, volunteer, and stick with it every day. The ones who give their best for their business, their family, their community, their future. We love community business owners because we're a community-owned bank, and we're proud to be with you, in business and in life. First United Bank and Trust, my bank.
Back live at School Stadium as we start the fourth quarter, and by some folks' standards, this may be a bit of a surprise. North Hagerstown hanging in, down just 14-0 with the football. 2nd and 6 for the Hubs from their own 45. 5th play of the drive, and Stottlemyre to midfield and close to a first down after he got a little help from his friends. See where they ultimately spot the ball. He's on the South Hagerstown side of the 50, but maybe about half a yard short of a first down. Looks like it'll be 3rd and a yard.
Well, you're right. You get the little push from your friends, and you pick up a little more yardage, which makes this a short call.
Stottlemyre again, and he's got the first down. Pushed back after he had picked it up. Roop on the tackle. And Stottlemyre still down after absorbing that hit. And it may have been that right there. McKenzie's helmet to Stottlemyre's helmet. And Ben has had some concussion problems. As a matter of fact, he missed the first game of the year because of a concussion. And he may have just absorbed another one of those hits to the head that is going to take him out of this football game. Hate to speculate, but looked pretty clear that that was what did it. The tackle by Roop didn't seem to be of any consequence, but it was the assist there by McKenzie coming in. He certainly didn't mean to do it, but it was just one of those things.
I thought the left leg here looked like it was bent a little bit awkwardly also when he got hit.
Take a look at it. Leg may have gotten under him a little bit there. You're right, Coach. You know, almost hope that maybe that is the case more so than you just hate, you know, those concussions to build up, especially at such a young age.
You're right.
You know, I mean, I don't know if there's really a lesser of two evils when it comes to injuries, but you just don't want to mess with the brain. And, yeah, definitely favoring the leg as he comes off the field. That is a huge blow for North Hagerstown, though, because he is the only guy outside of quarterback Scott Neal who has run the football tonight. They brought the chains across to measure, and they confirmed that it is a first down. So hopefully Stottlemyre will be okay. He had committed to go to Frostburg to play lacrosse, but after having a pretty successful football season, he was thinking maybe of entertaining thoughts of playing football in college somewhere. So, you know, we'll see how all of that plays out ultimately, but just hope that he's going to be okay after coming off the field with some assistance. So it's 1st and 10 now from the 48 of South Hagerstown. Chase McCoy, a sophomore, in the quarterback, or rather in the backfield beside sophomore quarterback Scott Neal, and it'll be Neal who keeps. And Neal this time finds some running room, and he's out to the 41-yard line of South Hagerstown.
That's a pretty good start on the first down, picking up 7 yards. But again, North needs to be in a mode where they've got to score on this possession because time is running against them.
2nd down and 3 from the Rebel 41. And the handoff goes to McCoy. And Chase McCoy has the first down to the 35-yard line. He's just 5'4", 145 pounds. That burrows his way out there for that first down to the 35.
Well, he doesn't need much of a hole if he's that size, and he found that little crack and then was able to turn it upfield.
This will be the 9th play of the drive now for North. So North sort of using South's recipe here for matriculating down the field. As you pointed out, time is drawing ever shorter by the second. High snap to Neal, gets it to McCoy. McCoy finds a lot of green jerseys converging on him, but then he just runs between a couple of them, and he's down to the 30-yard line. So pretty good job there by McCoy of finding some daylight where there didn't appear to be much.
It's kind of difficult as a defender to try and tackle somebody that size because they have a low center of gravity. Again, and just a little shoulder move and picked up some really nice yardage.
Second down and a long 4. And McCoy this time trying to go inside and had nowhere to go. Ian Holman leading the defensive charge for South Hagerstown, able to bottle McCoy up right at the line of scrimmage. So third down coming up from the 30-yard line of South Hagerstown, and the Hubs need 5 for a first down. McCoy in the backfield behind Neal. Neal quickly fires it into the hands of Dillard, and Dillard fights his way to the 21, and he's got a first down, a pickup of 9.
So a pretty good looking drive right now. There's nothing that's big. It's just those small chunks of yardage, 4 or 5 yards, and like you said, just moving the ball right down the field.
7 catches for 50 yards now for Dillard. And this time it's Chase Metz. And Metz is finally forced out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
That's a nice job getting out of bounds, and that's going to stop the clock, which is what North needed.
13th play of the drive coming up, one that started at the North 5-yard line. The ball now at the 15 of South Hagerstown. The Hubs have gone 12 for 13 in the red zone this year. And that one is incomplete, looking for Dillard.
So that, again, just a little bit of a page out of South's book. That's exactly what they did. You get down there close and you run that corner pattern and throw the ball up and hope you can run underneath it for the reception.
Third down, they need about 3 for a first down. 15 yards from the end zone. Neal keeps. Neal close to the 10-yard line. Sonone made the tackle, and it is a first down. I don't know that I've ever seen a more deliberate drive than this one by North right now.
That's exactly what it is. It's a good long drive.
15th play here with Neal faking the give to McCoy, keeping it, but then gets run down by Roop with some help from Brandon Hinton.
I thought he had a little bit of running room, but South closed it down pretty quickly.
And McKenzie making the initial contact there. .740 left to go in the fourth quarter. Neal throws, and there may have been a little contact in the end zone, but no flag. They're looking for Dillard.
2 receivers in that area. He went to Dillard, and a little bit of a contact, but not enough to cause interference.
So it'll be third down and 10 from just outside the 10-yard line. Stops the clock with 7:37 to go. And this is play 17 on this drive. This drive's lasted almost 6 minutes, almost half a quarter. Neal has a man. He's got him, and that's Jacob Connor. And Connor is brought down, it looks like, at about the 2-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short of a first down.
Good hand fake. cause the defensive end to make that step inside, the outside linebacker make the step inside, allow the receiver to get out onto the flat, and good job making the tackle. So here you are, you're 4th and a yard now.
Well, this is it right here for North. 7 minutes to go, 4th and 2. They absolutely have to get into the end zone here, you would think. And they'll give it to the shortest man on the field, McCoy, and it's Roop who brings him down back at the 4-yard line.
Try to get outside. Again, you're looking at everything probably being stacked inside by South, so you try and get outside. Just a great job shedding the block and coming off of it and making the tackle. Good job. So North now, it really, great drive, but when you move that far down the field and you come up with 0 points, the yardage doesn't mean anything.
No, they did everything but put points on the board. 18 plays, 6 minutes and 43 seconds, 91 yards, and nothing to show for it. And give the South defense a lot of credit. They bent, but they did not break. When they had to come up with the stop, they took care of it. And now with Townsend in at quarterback, some movement prior to the snap. South doesn't have far to back up here if it's on them. The ball's already at the 4-yard line. But it looks like it's going to go against North. Encroachment on the Hubs, and that will give South a little breathing room.
Yeah, you're not near the goal line now, so you're still there, but you're about at the 9-yard line. That gives you, like you say, a little bit of leeway here. You can roll, you can throw a little pass, you can afford to make a handoff, you can afford to try and go outside.
And it's Dutrow coming to the near side with a penalty marker down, able to spin out of one tackle attempt and is out across the 30-yard line before he's forced out of bounds, but looks like this one is likely coming back.
Good kick out block, and you get the kick out, and then you turn your body right up inside, and nice job shedding the tackle there. But again, for naught, because it's
no, it was a face mask against North Hagerstown. So the run will stand. So all of a sudden, after North is unable to punch it in after that long drive, South able to move the football on a nice run by Dutrow. They get some yardage tacked onto it because of a personal foul for a face mask against the Hubs. And now South is nearing midfield here, certainly out of trouble so far as field position is concerned. And 20 yards in penalties here on North so far on this drive by South. And Dutrow out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Walker and Herrera.
And we've got a South player down.
Injured Rebel at the 46-yard line. That's one thing you absolutely hate to see, especially in this final game of the year. We saw Stottlemyre come off for North Hagerstown on the previous drive, and we have an injured South Hagerstown player here with 6:20 left to play.
This looks like an ankle, probably.
So we'll go ahead and take a timeout here with 6:20 left to play in the fourth quarter. Take a 30-second break with South leading North 14-0. We'll be back in just a moment.
At Hagerstown Kia, we make it easy. Upgrade to a new, safe, and more reliable vehicle with a payment that fits your budget. Come see our lineup of award-recognized models, like the brand new 2017 Sorento, earning the Top Safety Pick Plus Award, and the 2016 Forte, with a 5-star safety rating. Test drive the 2016 Soul, rated the highest-ranked compact multi-purpose vehicle in initial quality by J.D. Power. Visit us today or view our great offers online at HagerstownKiaOffers.com.
Welcome back to School Stadium. 6:20 left to go in the fourth quarter, and the injured Rebel able to make his way off the field under his own power here, which is certainly good news. And as for his teammates, South Hagerstown is trying to put this one away. It's been a struggle. North has not gone down without a fight. Been able to move the football, especially on the drive that bridged the third and fourth quarters, but nothing to show for it. And having a 2-touchdown lead right now is almost like having a 4-touchdown lead for South Hagerstown, as Sonone has stood up at the line of scrimmage. Jacob Connor, one of the first to get there for the Hubs, and that will bring up a 3rd down and 7 with the ball at the 46-yard line.
I would anticipate probably just a little short pass to maybe try and pick up the first down, or run the ball and figure that the clock is going to run and just allow your defense again to take care of the job for you and win the ball game.
Yeah, if I'm South here and I don't get the first down, I'd just punt it downfield as far as I can and make North just go as far as I can possibly make them go. They've shown they can move the ball, but it takes them a lot of time to do it. They haven't been able to punch it in yet, as we get a delay of game call against South Hagerstown here. We'll make it 3rd and 11 instead of 3rd and 6.
And I would think at this stage, being the 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, that's exactly what you're going to do, is run it. Let the clock run, punt the ball down. North hasn't shown any big play capabilities. Everything has been short, and you've got a clock that's in your favor.
5:18 left to play in this fourth quarter. And it's Townsend with Sonone behind him. And Townsend turns and gives it to Sonone. Sonone gets around the corner, and he is not knocked out of bounds until he picks up a first down.
Out of bounds for number 6, David Broadus.
It's to the 45-yard line.
So
Gain of 14.
Good job here, just bouncing it outside and running away. That's just speed, running away from a defensive lineman, and you get upfield. Again, just a missed tackle at that particular point in time. At this stage of the game, you just want to keep tempers under control right now and make sure that you don't fumble the ball, make sure you don't lose the ball. Just go out and play the game.
So it'll be 1st and 10 with 5:11 left to play. And Townsend to the outside and is taken down by Keon Campbell after a pickup of 3. Make it 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
So again, just a little thing of bouncing to the outside, the defensive end losing containment, wanting to close down, not keeping the outside shoulder free, and that allows the ball carrier to pick up the yards that he did pick up.
South trying to close the door in this one. North has been valiant, but again, there's nothing to show for it. They were shut out last game against Liberty, and in danger of being shut out in back-to-back contests here to close out the 2016 season, as McKenzie looks for some yardage off right tackle and will pick up maybe 2. That'll bring up 3rd and 4.
And just under 4 minutes to go, so South would be content just to take as much time as they possibly can, getting in and out of the huddle and getting the play snapped and getting it run.
Townsend turns on the speed as he gets around the corner and will make it only to the 35-yard line, which will leave him about a yard shy of the first down. It's a gain of 4.
I thought he did a pretty good job trying to stay in bounds, but then got knocked out of bounds at the very end. That was a little close there. I sort of thought it was intentional for him to stop.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, they just said it was a first down. Referee came over and looked at it and said it's a first down, so that changes everything. So at first it seemed that it's going to be a tough call against South Hagerstown. Favorable call in the end. The first down will give them a fresh set of downs, and with just over 3 minutes to go, be able to work some more time off the clock. Here's Sonone around the left end, and Sonone taken out of bounds. Campbell makes the stop, and a penalty flag.
And you're going to get unnecessary roughness here. I think Sonone was out of bounds and he was thrown to the ground, and that's, this is the stuff that you don't want to see at this stage of the game. It's a little bit of frustration on North's part. You would expect South to run 3 plays in a row or just keep it on the ground as long as they can. I'm surprised you try to get outside, and you should be staying inbounds, and I'm sure that's what the coaches will tell them there, try and stay inbounds and run that clock. But you get the penalty right now, and North is just frustrated, and South is just doing what they need to do to win the ball game.
Call was a face mask, inadvertent face mask at that, just a 5-yarder. But that moves it down to the 24-yard line. Another first down for South. And I think right now the official's just going to call the players together and just remind them that you need to maintain some decorum here with just over 3 minutes to go. No reason to do anything foolish here. Let's just finish out this game with class and pride, and things may well be decided here, as we said, when North didn't put points on the board on that last drive. And, man, nothing's more frustrating than that. I mean, that going that far.
91 yards, yes.
Having the ball for that long and not getting anything out of it. And now South is content to watch that clock run. And they'll get it going again with another running play. And I'll tell you one thing, South not content just to go to the ground either. These guys are going to get every second out of this. As Sonone with another good run up the middle, a good hard run. Take multiple players to bring him down. Jacob Connor thought he had him and then basically turned him over to 3 of his teammates.
And again, this is North-South game. You're not going to hold any of the runners back. Everybody's going to run as hard as they can on this one and get as many yards as they can. I thought it was a nice job covering the ball up, making sure that it wasn't being stripped. A good leg drive, and it was good running play. And again, moving inside right up the middle so that you're not going to get outside and stop the clock.
Timeout called by North Hagerstown to stop the clock with 2:29 remaining. So North likely to fall to 2-8 on the season. South to go to 7-3. And I'm surmising that after the game we'll find out from Mark Keller what type of scenarios have developed so far as the playoffs are concerned. Obviously South handling its business here, but that's the only thing that was in South's control. Look at these two teams this season, and they played 4 common opponents. North was 0-4 against those teams. South was 3-1. The opponent that they both lost to was Westminster, and again, that's the one that could cost South in the long run. North was outscored 170-49 by those teams, whereas South outscored
those same 4 teams 93-88. You can tell it's this South season too. I mean, it's been a fine line between winning and losing too. If you look at their average for the year, points per game 21.4, points allowed per game 21.2. And it's been pretty even all year long. And again, this is a team that's done remarkable given those graduations from a year ago. Again, a huge senior class last year, and a lot of players, not just seniors, but it really factored into the success of South football. And just can't say it enough, coming back this year and putting together a 7-3 mark during the regular season. And add in the fact that 17 seniors will be leaving after this year, but there's 17 juniors coming back next year. I mean, that's a real good sign for this team, and some sophomores who are real key to this team too. So Coach Peer continues to do a tremendous job with South Hagerstown, and the Rebels looking to win this matchup against North Hagerstown for the 4th straight year. It's not the longest stretch that South Hagerstown has had with success in the what has become the Gridiron Championship Classic. South at one point in this series came up with a long winning streak. As a matter of fact, they were able to put together 7 in a row. It was a long, long time ago, 1960 to 66, but still, you think about the venerable history of this series now, this being the 60th year. Stats like that, and there's still plenty who point that out in a very prideful way, I would think, and some of them here tonight.
That's exactly right, and this is high school football. Things are going to change. You wind up getting new students in, and different things are going to happen. And so when you can string something together, then you know you've got a pretty good program going, and something to build upon and keep going.
North had won 8 straight at School Stadium before the 2014 game that South won 46-7. So this will be 2 in a row for South here now on what has become its home field. Of course, all the games used to be played here at School Stadium when the teams shared this particular venue as their home field. And I don't know that South will run another play here. They'll probably be content with that as we're under 30 seconds. Already a 2-touchdown game. McKenzie had 1 shot at it. Goes down at the 1-yard line. And Coach Peer and his staff will say that is good enough. And not the most aesthetically pleasing game, I'm sure, from the South Hagerstown standpoint, but they don't really hand out style points. It's just a win or a loss. And in the end, 14-0 victory, and you have to be satisfied anytime you pitch a shutout.
It's a W, and that's what you were shooting for. There are some things that you need to work on, and if you get the opportunity to play next week, then you'll go to practice and you'll work on those things. But again, you're the city champions. You've got bragging rights, and you should feel good about yourself and where you're at as far as the season goes, winding up 7-3.
And I just wonder, in the long run, with all of these quote-unquote youngsters on the South Hagerstown side, what kind of fuel that will be for them going forward from here, because really an overachieving season in a lot of ways.
This game will be fuel for both teams. The fact that South won, and they're young, they'll build upon that and say, what we've been doing has been good and we need to continue this. And North on the other end will say, we need to get a little bit better because we're bringing back a bunch of guys too. And so we'll meet these guys again, and that'll be next year. And so we'll wait 365 days and we'll see who's going to win.
Boy, that seems like a long time from now until then. South Hagerstown with the victory 14-0. We'll be back to School Stadium in just a moment.
When you're sick or hurt and can't be seen by your regular doctor, you just want to feel better faster. Make a convenient appointment or simply walk into Meritus Urgent Care, where you can receive attention from our caring professionals, from sprains and strains to sore throats, earaches, and other ailments that are not life-threatening. Meritus Urgent Care has you covered with on-site labs and x-rays and much more. We're conveniently located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Hagerstown at the Sylvania Center. Feel better faster with Meritus Urgent Care.
At Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period. We're the largest Ford store in the tri-state area. Number one for only one reason. We charge less, period. Hagerstown Ford delivers. We'll bring your new ride to you and do the whole deal sitting at your kitchen table. Easy peasy. Get more for your trade, easy on-the-spot financing, and the lowest prices on the East Coast guaranteed. And if we can't beat their deal, we'll buy that car for you. Hagerstown Ford, we charge less, period.
Have you been looking for us? Well, the wait is almost over. We're getting out of the studio to bring you Washington County's local news when you want it and where you want it, like Antietam National Battlefield.
And down by the river in Williamsport. And don't forget about Municipal Stadium.
We'll be live and local like never before.
Your local news team is returning. Stay tuned.
At Hagerstown Honda, we make it easy. We've got a full lineup of award-winning models, such as the Accord, 30 years on the Car and Driver's 10 Best list, or the 5-star overall vehicle score rated 2016 Odyssey, or the 42 miles per gallon Civic. And check out our huge inventory of SUVs. No doubt about it, 2016 is going to be the year for Hagerstown Honda. View all our great offers online at HagerstownHondaOffers.com or visit us today.
Welcome back to School Stadium. And Coach, really, that's what it's all about right there.
Yes, it's just something extra special when you see both teams who have fought very hard to win this game pull together in the center of the field, and I'm sure whatever is being said there is for both teams, and that's just, as an adult, you look down at that and you say, where's our younger community? Right there it is. That's just a beautiful scene.
That's very, very encouraging, especially when you consider at the end of that game, tempers were getting a little hot, so, to reel everything back in and, cooler heads prevail. And you see Ben Stottlemyre there, number one in the middle of it for North Hagerstown. Still looked like he was the worse for wear there. Looked like that leg may be bothering him for a little while as you see him trying to get up there. And that was a key on that final drive there by North Hagerstown, not to have him for the end of that drive. That did not help their cause. But, yeah, boy, I'll tell you, both teams played their hearts out here. It may not have been the most beautiful football game in the world. The execution may not have been crisp on both sides all night long. And for North, all kinds of frustration to take out of this game, not being able to at least get one touchdown on the board there on a 6-minute and 43-second drive. But when you break it all down in the end, South Hagerstown again winds up putting together a sensational season where we're going to find out about those possible playoff scenarios, and Mark Keller will tell us more about that. But first, he is with the winning coach, Coach Toby Peer and Mark Keller. Here's Mark.
All right, Wes, thanks a lot. Here with Coach Peer from South Hagerstown. Coach, you've talked all year long about how young this team is, but they have played like a team of veterans here the last few weeks.
I tell you, they've grown up. It's such awesome experience to coach this football team. They just find a way to grind it out. When you look at our stats, we're not impressive. We're a no-name offense, no-name defense, and a no-name special teams. But we just